is just radical. We're gonna do a couple songs for y'all from my album Destination Atlas. And the first song we're gonna do is called Destination Atlas, and it's basically about realizing what you thought it was ain't really what it was. You need to realize that you do have a higher power, whatever you think it is, and you calling out, you trying to figure out, man, why my life so sad? I need to figure out why I'm so mad. Every day I go and I just ask, I need some help from above, whoever I can ask, you know. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do Destination Atlas first, and then we're gonna do a couple more. One, two, three, yeah. Like water over the counter, disappointed cause you just poured it and the floor is wet. Round the socks you just put on it, it's still morning. Guess we know how this day is going. Ooh wee, bummy, headband down to my toes, covert, overtly by the sneaker I do these. Ooh please give me 2 cream, coffee and sugar. I still remember chai latte, December's A. Ain't spoke to freedom in a couple of days. They treat them like they gonna feed them, then get rid of the plate. Kinda like when you show up, they get sit up on a date. Or kinda like when you done ordered and you still gotta pay. Lonely hours is the holy hours. I speak to God himself like Pancha Mojo, Austin Powers. I shaggy shag, no Scooby-Doo and smoke the cauliflower. When I do that, I get a clue like Bluey Stews and cop your back, let's go to school. I've been hacked, the magic in my imagination is in ruin. Matter of fact, I'm kinda dazed, I got my back against the pulpit, preaching to the choir of the cool kids. I'm about to set my GPS and ride to this. Something's telling me I gotta go. Something's telling me this ain't my home no more. Falling into habits that I've known. Have I grown? I need a home, something that I know I can call my own. Reflecting and rewriting is something that I need to do all alone. And I hope the destination ain't wrong that I come up with. Need my heart and my mind together in the same zone. And I'm praying for the right path. So if you're out there and you hear me, can you please send something at last? I need a map that can steer me away from the patterns of my path. Steer me away from the patterns of my path. Steer me away from the patterns of my path. Steer me away from the patterns of my path. From the patterns of my past, steer me away, steer me away. I need a destination at last. Yeah, that was pretty much it right there. That was it right there. I like that. That was it right there. That was it right there. So, this next song we're doing, let's do motion. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and yeah. No. Can I? Yeah. Can I? this season. Don't accept the creeping and the crying this season. No slack at the wax in my mind this season. Listening to the teacher and his binding reason. Moving to the beat in my tempos. Good intentions, know I get it back tenfold. Speaking more fun in the sun like it's been cold. And I don't run from the music, that's what ends. So can I could go, please? Don't hold me. Gotta focus on the motion of no peace. Man, there's no need, no freezing. I'm so cheap. Gotta focus on the motion of no peace. Yeah, yeah. Boy. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Hey, if you got it, run it, tell it something that don't.
Yo, give me some volume on my microphone.
Testing.
Test. What's happening, everybody? You know what it is? It is Tuesday night. It is time for Classic Konversations with Jae Tea and Lo. Got a doozy for you tonight, man. I have a feeling we got some people that's tuned in that's not usually tuned in on this thing, so let me go ahead and let you know what Classic Konversations is. Classic Konversations is basically a show that allows people to speak on subject matter within our community. What we're hoping is we're looking to introduce opinions, and within those opinions, we're actually hoping that there's a solution embedded somewhere within those conversations. Conversations with a K, understand? It's not with a C, it's with a K. So, tonight, please get in on this conversation. Telephone number 404-500-1605. Please go to urbanatlanta.com and subscribe. While you're looking at this on Facebook, please hit that like button. Please hit that love button. I promise you, we will love you and like you for doing it because that's going to help us out big time. So please make sure that you're doing that. There's other shows on Urban Atlanta. We have the Flag Football Podcast for all of you sports fans out there.
Thursday nights.
We do a lot more than just talk about flag football on that.
DC Curry's this race, this race on Wednesday nights.
On Wednesday nights, so y'all make sure that y'all check that out.
You'll be entertained.
Tonight, you know what? Let's introduce our guest first before I talk about this subject matter. Go ahead, my man. Let them know who you are.
Hey, how y'all doing? Jonathan George, a.k.a. Jeezy, in the building.
Angelo, how was your week, brother?
The week was pretty good, man. No complaints. No complaints at all. You know, we still working on this construction, man. I know a lot of folks saw the article I posted today, man. Had a nice article on the coming soon of Uptown Comedy Corner. It was real cool. Came out the blue, and but man, I got a lot of good responses, man. Folk been responding all day. Been kind of fly.
Can't wait.
That's been the response.
I shared it also. Give me some volume, Dwayne. I shared that also. So yeah, I think the people are waiting for that, man. They're waiting for it. All right, so
What's up, Tiffany? How you doing, young lady?
Let's dive on into this thing. Bianca, what's going on, young lady? We are actually at the new Uptown. That's where we at. As you can see, we got our cigar lounge in Uptown, so we'll tell you all about that this.
Uptown Studio, ain't it right, Dwayne?
Yeah.
Uptown Studios,
actually,
man.
No, this is called Studio Uptown. That's what it's called. Studio Uptown, that's where we at.
Last night, man, quick shout out. Dwayne had Travis Porter.
Okay.
Group Travis Porter was in the building last night doing their podcast.
Big things.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It was kind of cool.
Studio Uptown, that's what we doing. Reach out to us if you need something. Let us know. We might be able to get something happening for you.
Yeah.
So, this week, man, we subject matter is going to be a little touchy. What we're talking about is fathers with sons of an alternative lifestyle. And when I say alternative lifestyle, of course, I'm speaking in the sexual content of it. So first thing, let me say this. As stated, tonight's show is about alternative lifestyle. If anything is said that offends you, I promise you that we're not saying anything that's aimed directly at you on purpose. But if it does offend you, please inbox us, reach out to us whichever way you can. You can say it right on whatever platform you're watching it on. And you know, if we see that, we will give you an apology right here on air. So just understand that we are not trying to offend anybody with this conversation. What we're hoping to do is educate and again,
shed light.
Shed light.
Yeah, you know, just share it out there so that, you know, there's a lot of people out there with this struggle. And I call it a struggle because we as men and our sons, we have it's a different connection and it's a different dream that we have about our sons.
Expectations.
You know, expectations on what they're gonna be. Most of
Good
them
word.
Be sports stars. You know, me, I sure enough wanted my child to be a basketball player. He was shooting up straight up in the air. Kind of recognized that at about 11, 12, that wasn't gonna happen. You know, it was heartbreaking. So, you know, when I think of it that way, if I would have found out that my son was living an alternative lifestyle, you know, I'm sure that would have been even more heartbreaking. You know, a lot of times we say things that, no matter what, I'm still gonna love you. No matter how you turn out, I'm still gonna love you. And usually when people say that, they're thinking of if they end up in bankruptcy or in jail or something like that. We never think about an alternative lifestyle. So that's why we're kind of having this show. You know, to bring that point up. I'm gonna have some people that's gonna call in and talk about, you know, their challenges with this, things of that nature. So, Jeezy.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and tell the people why you're one of our special guests tonight.
So a couple weeks ago, I came up. I don't know if anybody tuned in or whatnot, but I spoke with Angelo after the show, Angelo and Jae Tea, and told him about my situation, about having a son that is now living an alternative lifestyle. And he's a senior in high school at this time. And I've probably been knowing it definitively since he was maybe 9 or 10, where it was definite. So I talked to him about it, and I had a friend I rode with on my side job, and we were riding on an ambulance, and I started talking about it openly and just talking about it and expressing. And I spoke about it so openly. He came out with me and he was like, "Man, you don't know what you just did to me. You just, us having this conversation, so it turns out he had a son that was the same way, had that alternative lifestyle, and we had the best conversation as men, two heterosexual males riding, and we just talked open about it, and it gave him that reluctancy to open up with me. And he said that was the first time he ever talked with anybody about it, because he was trying to keep it in the closet, so to speak. And it went from there. And I think it's a subject for a lot of us black men that we're ashamed of, or maybe afraid to speak on. But I told him, man, I love my son regardless. And it wasn't easy for me either, you know what I mean, initially, you know. But then I had to realize that, okay, so what can I do about that? I'm about solutions. And if the solution is for me to get myself in line, that's what it was. And it was about me, not him, because he's in line. He knows who he is. And at the end of the day, I feel like I'm about and life. And if that's going to stop him from doing something dangerous, me being open about it and speaking to him about it, and he can have a appreciative lifestyle, knowing his parents backing him, and he can have a long life and still live his life and be loved and know there's no shame from his family, then he can have the utmost confidence in the world. And I think that's the biggest to do about this whole conversation. Like, because a lot of people, kids, they take their lives because they get bullied at a young age. Kids are killing themselves in middle school. So I think that was the biggest thing for me coming out with this conversation, talking to Angelo and Jae Tea about it, just so we can reach out to the men who are afraid, or, you know. And you can call up here today, and man, it ain't no face. I put my face on it because I'm not ashamed, you know what I mean? And hopefully, as we move on in the future, more men feel that way, that they can come out and speak the same way and not be ashamed, or even embrace the love that they have to give, because it's still your child.
And with them saying that, if you do decide to give us a telephone call, you do not have to say your name if you don't want to. If you want to, of course you can. Your phone number won't be published like that, so please feel free to give us a telephone call because you never know what your story can do for somebody else.
Facts.
You know, you never know. So getting, all right, Jesus. So getting you. So you said that you kind of felt this when he was like 9, 10 years old. So in his senior year, did he actually come out to you on your senior year?
What?
On his senior year?
Well, no, he didn't actually come out. Actually, I found out through his older siblings that made it official. Like my daughter followed him on Instagram. He wouldn't follow my son. Okay. He was a little ashamed, but he followed my daughter. So I'm like, but that's what kind of made it official. You know, he's doing random things. You know, and you have different type of people that are in the gay community. Like you got the flamboyant ones, you have the ones that are non-flamboyant, you have the ones that are in the closet, whatever. Right. But he was more at liberty to be free on social media. So, and that's kind of what opened it up.
Now, you said you opened up your Facebook, so you got to do it. But you said your son was around 10 years old when you recognized it?
Absolutely. And it's funny, but because I noticed it when he was younger, but you know, we be in denial because I've been in his life since he was a baby. So I had him on T-ball team, coaching T-ball, and you see little things, but they kids, so you don't take it too serious. And as he continued to grow, it just grew with him, you know, so, I mean, and that's what it was initially.
So, and the reason I wanted to make sure we mark that age was you have people that say, you know, that's not possible or things of that matter, or they say they're just confused or, you know, all different stereotypes, for kids. So, and some people just, you know, some people naturally feel like it just flat out ain't possible. But you're saying at the age of 10, so at the younger age, you didn't have any kind of manly type conversations or kind of, you know what I mean, with them? Did you try to,
deter him? No, I never did actually because I never knew it was official. So you don't want to have a conversation with a child as an adult because they're not ready for an adult conversation at 6, 7, 8 to even know what he's even feeling to even feel this way. You know, so I think that was my biggest thing. What age is appropriate to have that conversation with a child about an adult's subject matter? You get me? So I think that's what was the only thing that was kind of holding me up from really going there. And, you know, so I think that it sparked from there. Thank you.
You know, listening to what you were saying, Angelo, in regards to, you know, people saying it's a phase. They're just emulating their sister. They're emulating their auntie because he only has aunties and sisters. You know, I almost look at that as like a defensive mechanism that a lot of people put out there. Because like you said, you probably recognize it, but you use that to keep from recognizing it.
Correct.
You know, in your case, you pretty much saw what you saw, felt what you felt, and let it run its course.
Correct.
In your move, and then later on. So now, have y'all had the conversation since the siblings came to you and everything?
Honestly, no, because I'm still now. I don't know how to have the conversation. This is part therapy for me coming to you guys with this. So maybe people can enlighten me on how I could approach it. So I think still, but I know, and he knows I love him, and you know, so that's been established, and I think he may know, but we've never had the one-on-one head-to-head conversation about it.
Interesting.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting.
And again, you know, it's the reverse of it. Usually, you know, you think of that person coming out to their father, but this is a father trying to figure out how to have that conversation to bring the truth out of it without his child feeling ashamed in regards to it, because I could probably think of, some young men that would, even if their father came at them about it, they probably wouldn't tell the truth because of not knowing what the response would be from their father, especially, if they witnessed their father saying or doing certain things around the house that would make them feel like that's not something that their father would want to hear or see.
Correct. And also we're in a broken home, so he doesn't stay with me. I think if he lived with me, it'll be an easier conversation. The fact that he stays with his mom, and so I don't want to come across too abrupt. So it's a touchy subject matter.
That was going to be my very next question. Was the upbringing?
One moment.
Go ahead.
Hey, make sure that you put the phone number up too. All right.
Were you ever physically in the household daily with him, or was always a visitation type situation?
The latter. It was always a visitation situation. I come pick him up, take him. Of course, I chill when we're kicking. When he's with me the whole day, he'll be with me the whole day, but never ever in the house.
Day-to-day
Correct.
situation. So, and again, what JT said earlier, please don't nobody be offended by the questions. We're just trying to get dialogue.
Yeah.
So the right now you don't go with the theory of, well, you're with the theory. Let me rephrase that, of that kids can be born gay. Do you believe in that theory?
And that's a great question because I personally do feel that way. Personally, I really do feel that way. But
now,
go ahead.
Did you always feel that way? Go ahead with your answer. But I just want to know,
And I have never. I used to think the opposite. Like, no, it's not. It's impossible until you have that situation confronted with it yourself. So I did not think that before. But then, even looking back to my childhood, having cousins that we suspected that may not be just like the other boys, and I remember them being like that, and them growing older and still continue to be like that, and they live. But what I can honestly say also too is I think his mother wanted a daughter initially when he was born. And I remember going to pick him up for t-ball practice, and he's 4 years old, and he took a shower, she's drying him off. And I'm like, I got there, like, he's a boy, let him dry himself off. He can let him learn to be independent, So I think maybe that may have something to do. And I'm not saying my son per se was born that way, but I don't know either, you know what I mean? So, because who knows how God works, you know what I mean? And nobody's the dictator of that, you know what I mean, but him. So, yeah, that's tricky, but I do believe you can be. I think now, knowing, what I know, I do think that it's possible.
Now you believe that?
Yeah, because I don't think God make mistakes. And what's your sexual orientation have to do with the type of person that you are and the type of person that God made? You know what I'm saying?
And the reason I ask that question because that's another theory is the upbringing. You know what I mean? Sometimes people feel like if a male is raised in a all-female household, for example, and that's all they see is female tendencies and what have you.
Correct.
With no constant male there's that potential. I don't have a theory one way or the other, but I'm just saying that that's what it said. You know what I mean? That's why I asked that question in terms of, the upbringing and what have you. You about to say something?
Yeah, before we get to going, I'm a little tight now, so slide down a little bit, dog. Slide a little bit. Give me a little space here. Got big shoulders here. Got big shoulders. There we go.
This up. Is that the scene?
Yeah.
I wonder why my elbow kept touching yours, man.
So
appreciate y'all who just hit the likes and the loves on there. Please, everybody that's listening, please do the same thing. Hit like and love on this page. It gives our algorithms a new bonus. Go ahead.
Yeah. Please keep hitting them buttons. Hit them buttons for us. So now I'm gonna go back to the IG thing. So his siblings,
sister,
yep, came to you and told you to take a look at IG.
No.
Okay.
She just told me.
Okay.
I don't know how I feel, even if, just being honest, but she told me what he was doing, like twerking and things like that on social media. Yeah, it is, but yeah, doing things like that. And that's not a normal heterosexual male type of thing to do. And maybe some men do it, because I don't judge. But, and that's how it started. And it went from there.
That's an older
That was the confirmation, just older sibling. Maybe about 7, 8 years on him.
So, because you're non-custodial, right?
Not in that situation, correct.
So, have you guys spent time? Has he been here with you?
Yeah,
For a period of time since then. And
yeah, we see each other from time to time, and we talk. Well, it's all normal. Dad, dad, father situations,
Right.
but not nothing interpersonal where we're getting on the conversation of your sexuality. Because I still feel like he's growing, but he is a senior this year, so it's approaching the time. So I thought that's why it was prime time for me to get this out there, so I can, like I said, get my therapy through it and learn through speaking with other people, or maybe people calling up and helping me, maybe decipher how to deal with it.
Yeah, because like you said, it's not only traumatic for the child, it's actually traumatic for the parent also, especially an African American man, a black man these days, man. When that's something that's kind of hard to deal with. I want to say it shouldn't be, but it's hard to say that.
Yeah, true.
It's hard to say either way whether it should be or shouldn't be, but I guess it really shouldn't be. And what's equality and all of that type stuff that's going on right now. I guess it shouldn't be, but let's face it, it still is. So
I think it falls under everything else. It's how you're raised.
I was thinking the same thing, Angelo. You said you took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, it's just certain things that you're raised, your upbringing is, things that are said to people you're around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. At the end of the day, you're a product of your environment.
You're a product of your environment, Jeezy. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? So it's just like all the other things we do. It's what we came up with. So, and that wasn't accepted. And our generation, you know what I mean? For those that have crossed that 50 barrier, for sure, you know what I mean? And just certain things, it was kind of an isolated thing, and people were hiding literally in those closets.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Well, now it's a little bit more wide open. So I think that's why it's difficult, for parents. Ask a cop fell through.
Yes, sir. MJ, what's happening, bro?
Just making it, man, making it. What's the topic for tonight?
Well, that's right. You're just getting in here. So, yeah, basically what we're talking about is fathers with sons of an alternative lifestyle. When I first made the first post about it, I used the word gay. Then I thought about it. There's, bisexual, there's trans now, all of this type of stuff. That's why I kind of changed it to alternative lifestyle or sexual preference. If your son's sexual preference is different than yours, how does it make you feel? Are you able to have those conversations? Are you able to have those conversations with other people? Like you said, you missed it earlier. He said that he ended up talking about it openly with a coworker of his, and come to find out his coworker was looking for somebody to talk to about the same type of stuff. Because we don't look at, the fathers, because again, the father and son type deal, it's a different relationship. And sometimes what I've heard from some people that I know, they say a lot of fathers will feel that it's their fault. So this is why they get so angry, because of what it looks like on them. A lot of fathers feel that it's their fault that they didn't raise their son to be quote unquote straight, that type of deal. So that's one of the reasons we want to have this type of conversation in here, that type of stuff, and as far as for the three of us up here, if you found out that your son was having an alternative lifestyle, how do you feel that you would be able to deal with it?
Well, you read my shirt, man. It says fatherhood over everything, and I would hope and pray to believe that would be the case. You know what I mean? That I would be a father over anything else.
Correct.
Now, if we're you know, to be 100% honest, I think, and I told you this when he first brought it to me, and I, you know, and as I've had this conversation over the last few days with different people, you know, I'm not gonna lie and say it would be easy. I wouldn't sit there and lie to you and say it'd be easy. You know what I mean? You know, in this cancel culture, you gotta be careful with your words. You know what I mean? And the things you say, because it can come out the wrong way. But the best way for me to just say is that it would not be easy.
No.
You know what I mean? I would not sit in line and say I would not have a hard time with it, because I would. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you know,
Fatherhood over everything.
Fatherhood over everything. You know what I mean? It's so, you know, I love my kids, you know what I mean, to the level of ridiculousness. You know what I'm saying? When I say everything I do, I live, breathe, and sleep, you know.
For them.
For them. You know what I mean? So, but you know, but I also tell my boys, and that's all I have is boys, you know.
How many boys you have, Lo?
4.
Okay.
And I always say, you know, no matter what the situation is, no matter what you're going through, no matter truth, whatever the scenario is, you come to me.
Exactly.
And we'll sit down and we'll deal with it. Good, bad, or ugly.
Yep.
We're
Right.
gonna sit down and we're gonna deal with it. You know what I mean? And I when I say I preach that to them, I preach it to them. Good, bad, or ugly, man. Don't you ever feel like you can't come to dad. We're gonna resolve. We're gonna get to it regardless. You know what I mean? Whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
And I tell them, you know, and when you come to me in honesty, there's not gonna be no judgment. You know what I mean? Even if I'm upset with the scenario, we're gonna deal with the scenario first. You know what I mean? And then we'll deal with everything else.
Yeah, because everything has a solution.
Everything does.
I mean, no matter what. I mean, just that we have to get to that point, you know what I mean, mentally, and as men. And we say we're men. So that comes with a big title, just like your shirt says, fatherhood over everything. Mm-hmm. That's a broad statement. Like, and being a man is a broad statement.
Tiffany, please call in. We don't want just a male perspective. It just came out from a male scenario.
Correct.
But we're open to any perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Especially on how you would approach it.
I skipped that. Tiffany, listen, I meant to say that at the beginning of the show. I do understand that there are mothers out there that have sons of an alternative lifestyle, and fathers out there that have daughters of an alternative lifestyles, and mothers also. The reason we went this route was because my man Jeezy actually approached us with it about 2-3 weeks ago, from a father's standpoint. And so we kind of just went that route because it was specific to his situation. But if anybody wants to call in and talk about it with a daughter, if a mother wants to call in, we're open to that. We got a caller. MJ, you ain't off the hook. We're gonna come back to you.
Yeah, because I thought that question was for him. He pointed at me. Like,
you ain't off the hook, MJ. We coming back. Caller, how you doing?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Speak up a little louder. Just
speak a little louder.
Hey, I'm gonna hang up and call back in.
No, you're good. You're good right there. You're good right there.
We got you. How you doing?
Guess he hung up.
Hey, look, and then on the Tiffany, I actually have a close female friend that has that same scenario, and we speak on it all the time. And she's just now going through it, where her son is kind of not sure where he is, and we speak on it very openly. And I give her that reassurance and that confidence to. So definitely, women, please call up, because I want to hear everybody's perspective, and I want to even get mine. You know what I mean? I want to be better at being a better parent. Period.
Absolutely.
Caller back on the line. Caller.
Hey, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes,
How
sir.
you doing?
Hey, man. Hey, y'all. Hey, this is Will Franklin, y'all, man. What's up, y'all?
What up, Will?
What's up, Will?
What's happening?
Hold on one second, Will. Hold on one quick second.
Hold on, Will, because we're going to add another caller in with you.
All right, Will. Go ahead, Will. Other caller, hold 1 second.
Yep.
Go ahead, Will.
Hello?
Okay.
I said, second caller, hold on. Will, you go ahead.
Yeah, I'm having trouble hearing y'all, man. But y'all can hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you
yeah,
pretty
we
good.
can-
I can hear you good now.
All right, yeah, man. Listen, man. Jeezy.
Yes, sir. That's it.
Low. JT, man, I've known y'all for 15 years, man. Y'all some of the strongest brothers I know, man. And I love this topic, man, because I'm absolutely dealing with it right now with my 9-year-old son. And I mean, literally, this topic almost just brought tears to my eyes, man, because the transparency, the honesty that y'all are, having this conversation with, and also, the fourth panelist up there as well, co-host. I mean, I just had a talk with my son not even 10 minutes ago, about, him and talk that he and his mom had about, him liking boys and girls. Now, he's only 9, so I don't know what that's going to turn into in the future, man, but it really hit a nerve right now when Lo was just talking about, the fact that, or was JT that brought up, that how it can feel like failure as a father when you're trying to have these conversations and you're trying to deal with these realities of the day and age that we live in now when it comes to sexuality and orientation and things and such, man. And, I just, honestly, I don't think that I would have ever brought this up to anybody without y'all really, tackling this topic tonight, man. So I really appreciate this shit, man. Like literally, I almost, I was almost in tears just having to talk to my son. I'm sitting here listening to y'all, man, and more than anything else that, I need right now, I need this conversation. I need to hear this, this shit right here was we've all known each other on a whole different level, man, but this shit is so real life right now that I'm not even sure what to do with it. I'm not sure how to handle it. I'm not sure how to tactfully have a conversation about it. All I know is I love my son.
Right.
But the portion of failure as a man that, that can bring on, and I ain't gonna lie to you, man, I'm holding back right now because I just don't know how to deal with it, man. But to see 3 men, on the panel that I absolutely respect, I got 15 plus years with knowing y'all, this shit is godsend, man. I don't even know, what I'm saying? So I really, really appreciate y'all for having this whole topic, man. I need this right now, for real.
Well, Will, I can tell you one thing. Nothing you have done so far has been failure. Because failure is not derived on if your son is gay or if your daughter is gay or bisexual or whatever the orientation may be. Failure is based on the upbringing, the roots, and the foundation that you give that child to be a great human being. And I think that's the most important thing that you base your success or failure on, period.
And to add into that, there's a point my uncle just made on here. He agreed on the fatherhood of everything, but he said, you must have the talk about how to best navigate through life. You know what I mean? And I think that's a very important
For real.
factor.
For real.
You know what I mean?
It's tough out there for them.
It's tough out there. So you got to be able to have that talk one way or the other to best navigate life. That's a fact.
I appreciate that.
Hey, Will. I mean, we like you said, we know you, and we know how outspoken,
The type of person you are.
how
Sure.
crazy you are, how funny you are. So for you to say that, you really lost for words with this tells me that this is something that's really, really serious.
Correct.
It was serious anyway, but for the people out there, I'm telling you, this guy here is always talking, making sure everybody feels good. Sometimes he don't make you. I mean, Will is a person that is never. He always got words to say. So this shows you how serious this subject matter is out here. And adding on to what Angelo and Jeezy said, bro. As far as failure in regards to fatherhood, not being there is the failing part.
Correct.
So you being there is nowhere near failure. Whatever happens, as long as you're there, there's no way that you can feel that there's a failure there. So I want to make sure that you know that real quick. MJ, you got something on that? Because we got some other callers.
Tiffany on the line still too, yo guys.
Just real quick, I'm normally far right on just about everything, but on this, I'm more, I'd say middle. Last couple of years I was on, well, probably the last 7 years on the department, there was inundated, well, a lot of people of, that lifestyle joined, and I had a couple snafus along the way because I'm an old dog, but the more I served with them, especially some of the female officers that came on that were lesbian, I'll tell you what, the new department, hands down, probably out of the ones that I knew that were openly gay, they were some of the best performers on the department. So I think a lot of that fear comes from the front that you're not, because I guess I'm sounding like a white guy, but I don't know anybody close until you start, when the department start opening up to it, and a lot of people that you thought was, started loosening up a little bit. And like I said, I'm like this. It wouldn't be my choice for my son, because it's hard enough to be a black man as it is. But, you love your kids, man. So I'm really more towards the left on this topic.
Hey, Will, again, brother, you're not failing. We got a lot of callers calling in on this. Please make sure that you stay tuned in. We have to clear this line so that they can get in, because there may be something else to help you out going forward.
Stay on the.
Yes.
Tiffany's still on too. Let's hear from Tiffany.
Stay tuned though.
Hey, all good, man. Hey, man, I love y'all.
Hey, love you too, Will. Appreciate you calling in, bro. 100%.
All right, call
Tiffany.
2. Who do we have there?
What's her name, Tiffany?
I'm not sure. Go ahead, Tiffany.
Tiffany, you on?
This is Tiffany right here.
Okay. Hey, how you doing, Tiffany?
Hear me?
Yes,
We
ma'am.
hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you, Tiffany.
Yes, I can.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey there.
How are
I'm
you?
good. How about yourself?
I'm getting back. Hold on.
There's another caller on there. Other caller, hold tight for 1 second. Go ahead, Tiff. And
Okay, I'm here.
turn your
Can you
back.
hear me?
Go ahead.
Yes, I can.
What's his name?
Okay, so my son is 14,
14.
and he came out to us about 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
First, he came out, he was gay. He said he was confused. He said he didn't know what he liked. And I felt that it was not really my husband's fault, but my husband was in the military. So the first 5 years of his life, he wasn't there. So the first 5 years, he didn't have a male figure. He just had me. Then he came back for 5 years, and they bonded a little bit, but my son wasn't in the sports. My husband was in the sports. My son likes to dance. I like to dance, so we danced. That's what we did. That was our thing.
Hey, Tiff, can you hear me?
And then my husband was gone again. He was coming home on the weekends, but it still wasn't the same. He wasn't getting that male interaction, and because they kind of seemed like they didn't have anything in common, my son spent a lot of time with me. So when he came out, that he was confused about his sexuality, I felt that it may be because all he was around and all he saw was me.
Okay.
So he told his father, I told his father that, we all needed to talk, but he said he felt this way in 7th grade. He knew something was wrong in 7th grade. How you know that young? I have no idea, but he said he knew in 7th grade, and people would tease him in 7th grade. And now that he's a freshman in high school, he said he's still being teased, but he's very confident. He's very strong. He doesn't care. And the funny part is he says he's positive that he's gay now. But he got the prettiest girlfriends you ever want to see. He don't mess with all his girlfriends. You hear me? But I mean, it's really tough and it's really hard. I think it's easier for a mother dealing with a child, a son being gay, but of course it would be for a father. My husband handled it well, I guess, but I still don't feel like he really, I'm a whisper, I still don't feel like he really gives my son the attention that he needs because he's gay. I think he feels like they have nothing in common, and I don't like that. But outside of that, we're just taking it one day at a time, and that's really all you can do.
That's all you can do. Yes.
No doubt, no doubt. That's true. I mean, and you're 100% right. But
So for me,
Wait.
I think one of the things that I want to try to impress upon you to correct or ask your son to change his vocabulary in that he feels that there's something quote unquote wrong. And because that denotes that there is something that needs to be fixed.
Caller.
James.
For me,
James
I believe, well, each person is different. I was talking to Jae Tea today, and I believe that people can be born this way.
Hold on.
Some people believe because of instances, traumatic experiences, being raped, could make a person this way.
Bradley.
And also,
Bradley, is that you?
tend to believe that if they had the greater influence on their child, then they made them this way, or the lack of their father's involvement made them this way. So I think it's going to be important for your son to begin to look at what are his beliefs about being gay. Can you be born this way? Is there a gene? He has to come up with that, because that will help. At least it helped me with coming to grasp with who I am, and was I made this way? Was I born this way? And my father and I never had this conversation, because when I was at the point of being comfortable and accepting myself and living in my authentic truth, and that was born out of being suicidal, in part due to the pressure that I felt to live up to my family's expectations, the pressure that I felt to live up to what my male friends defined as masculinity for me. There was a lot of pressure, and also not wanting to let your parents down, the fear of being rejected. So for me, I had gotten to the point of wanting to kill myself. And so I had made up in my mind that that was not healthy for me. And I was going to be true to me, because not being true to me led me down to wanting to kill myself. So I made up in my mind that I was going to be true to myself and tell my family. Now, my father had passed away prior to this, so I always wondered if he would take me. So my father was that man's man. He was in the service, and he played sports, and I did all that stuff. I played sports. He was always there for me. He was in the household. He came to my award.
Bradley.
He was there.
They can't hear us.
But I always wondered.
It's the delay.
Parents say, "We love you regardless."
Right.
And I think they mean that until something comes along to test it. And for my mother, she had to take a look at, does she really love me unconditionally or regardless? Because when I told her, she hung up on me. But I said, just give her time. She called me right back, because her love for me was greater than the dislike or not understanding what was going on, how I got to this point, and did she contribute to it? Because also her perception and understanding of gay men when she was growing up was that they wore dresses and high heels, and they wore lipstick and wanted to be with me. That wasn't the case with me. So we had to fight stereotypes, and perception. And so, but I never knew what my dad thought. And I wanted to believe that his love for me that he shown all throughout my childhood, even though I had girlfriends, and like you said, the prettiest of girlfriends. But I hope that would supersede, him being upset with me. Or, because we don't want to upset our family members, and we will sacrifice our happiness, our joy, our living our most authentic lives and thriving, especially because we don't want to let our dads down.
Yeah.
So I will tell you this, it took my mother probably a good 2 or 3 years to adjust, to stop blaming herself, because she would always say, your dad would always say, Gert, stop smothering the boy. Let the boy be a boy. You won't let him go outside and get dirty. All these stereotypical masculine traits. But there's so many different ways to be a man. So do we define a man as being someone who has sex with women or likes women? So, but she a while, and I had to give her permission. Well, she had to give herself permission, and I had to allow her to be where she was, ask those questions, and me not be defensive, because not only was I uncomfortable with having the conversation, I was also uncomfortable with having to answer questions because I was just getting at the point where I was accepting. Wow. But it is a hard thing for fathers, I think, to not blame themselves. Or if I had just been tough, or if I had just spanked him more, or if I had taken him out and hung with me and we played baseball. If it is that you are born this way, none of those things that you do would have changed.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then, my family was, very religious, and that was another thing. You understood that you were damned to hell if you, and this was like the sin that superseded the sin. But there were other things that were going on. But so you tried to play the role, but at some point in time, that pressure gets to you. And I would have never, I was like in my late 20s, almost 30s when I came out to my family. Was your son to have the courage to come out to you, or to even? I'm not sure, And I would say the more you talk about it, if you have parents that have children that are, gay or in the lifestyle or have the sexual orientation, I think you have to give yourself permission to ask those questions and to voice those things like, did I make him this way? Should I have done this? All those things are in the past too, and you can't really change them. But it's, most, like I work in a courthouse, juvenile courthouse. And there are so many, and I also go to a love and acceptance church. So there are so many teens that get kicked out of their household and are forced to do whatever. Yeah. To make money, to keep a roof over their head. Safety is a concern. I never experienced any type of violence, but it's a real thing. And we live in Atlanta, where we're I think number one for sex trafficking. And I can't tell you the amount of young boys that come through the court systems because they've been prostituting because their families didn't accept it.
Yeah, and
I'm not saying this to make you feel like you have to be pressured into accepting it, because kids, we also realize that when we come out to our families, that is for us. I think we want our fathers and our mothers to accept us. It would make it easier for us. But we also realize that you are entitled to your own opinions as well.
And I think that's why it's a credit to
hard
Will.
thing. It's a hard thing, but the great thing is conversation.
Yeah, and I think that's a credit to.
We talk about it, and he's in his high school. They actually have a group,
Wow.
A gay alliance group
Yes.
at the high school, and he's a part of that. They sent an email tonight. He's a part of that. He's very confident, but at the same time, he has a class that he's in, and he feels that the boys are talking about him, so he's trying to leave the class. And I'm like, people are going to talk. Let them talk.
Confront
you don't
it.
leave your
Regardless.
class so
Yeah.
people are talking. We don't do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, let them know that they're gonna talk about him no matter what.
Overall, he's confident. He doesn't. He's very strong-willed.
Talk
I'm
about him
very
if it's
proud of
straight.
that. I pray
The delay
days
is
like
definitely-
that.
Yes.
And I think
Because there's no way I could have been 15 in the high school coming out. I was still trying to fake the funk, dating girls, talking, all the stuff. I didn't have the courage. But times have changed. So I applaud you for supporting it and trying to understand, because I think that is extremely important.
Yeah, and a comment for Will. I think he was speaking of failure. I don't think it's failure, Will, if your child can come out and tell you this at this tender age. So you definitely did good for him, because how hard is it for most kids to have that dialogue with their parents at a young age? So you didn't fail him if he feels comfortable enough to come to you and your wife and say, "Hey, Father, I am this." So that's definitely a success in itself. You ask me.
But let me ask this question: for a situation like that, with Wilson, for example, it's like the way he's described it, he's like not sure.
Right.
So I'm just curious, and I don't know the answer. I'm just curious how would you have that conversation? You know what I mean? What part of the conversation do you have if the child is really not sure?
And Angelo, my female friend that has that situation, her son's the exact same way. It's no way to really have it, because I just tell her, I guess, just don't let them experiment in sex yet. Tell them just wait and have those emotions, but don't cross that line yet, maybe until you get a little older.
A 9-year-old.
No, not even 9, 11, 12, because her son is 14 and 15. 9, yeah.
Strong. I got something to say on that now.
Go ahead.
I mean, it's all, it is what it is, whatever your child's orientation is, but if he's undecided, I'll try to get him to stay on the head team. Just be more, just so he'd see both. You know what I'm saying? You can't go so far over to the side like, okay, he's gay, just let him be gay. You want to be understanding, but on the same token, I would kind of let him know what it is to,
Right.
be on the heterosexual side.
And you're right, but that's still an issue in itself, because now you can force the child one way. It's the best thing to just stay on the. No, I get what you're saying. I get 100% what you're saying.
So he'll see him both.
Just that, and that's what my friend does. She tries to keep him like balanced and throwing girls, and you know what I mean. But the more you force somebody one way, the more they want to go the other way. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard. It's a hard balance to try to figure out, I think. I mean, this is a difficult conversation in itself. So imagine trying to tell yourself, don't like girls, don't like boys, don't like girls.
I wouldn't say don't like him. I would just like maybe expose him to more.
That's saying don't like them, dog. if you say you're gonna expose him to more girls,
I'm not saying no.
you're saying that.
You're saying, from what I understand, the question was if the kid's undecided which way he wants to go or she wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
So just like I'm not saying like say, hey, be gay, go do whatever. I'm just saying that maybe tell them, hey, look, there's a good thing about being heterosexual, and tell them some of the good things about it. Not saying there's anything bad.
But my question to that would be, I think there's an age range. Like, if let's go with Will's son.
Definitely age
He's
appropriate.
9 years old.
Yeah.
Should there be a conversation even about
At that age.
sexuality at 9 anyway? And I don't know.
And so remember, you asked me that earlier now.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have it. Remember, you asked me that same question. I feel like they were too young to have that conversation.
Right.
Remember, you asked me earlier, so I definitely know where you're going with this.
Yeah, I'm just, why can't
Let it take its course.
let it correct? Just raise them, and just make sure that you leave yourself open to dialogue,
Correct.
whichever way it goes.
Correct.
But and I say this because you have. All right. Don't get mad at me, folks, but listen. You got situations right now where you have the DC comic book, right? Have y'all heard of this?
Yeah. I'm not familiar.
Okay, so the new DC comic book is coming out, and they're saying that Superman and Lois Lane had a son, and the son is bisexual.
See, this is
Now, so my question with that is simply, why does Superman and Lois Lane's child have to have any kind of sexuality at this point? Because we're talking with kids. Why is it necessary
Right, I agree
to
with
even
that's what you're
say
How old is the child?
heterosexual or not? Why is that a conversation? So I'm saying at the same time, same tones of the age group is
Why
that
is it a conversation
needed
right now?
Some conversations are age
I
appropriate.
don't know if that caller's still on, but I would like to get
But I'm just saying from the standpoint if he's saying he's in between the two.
Hold on, let me go over some of these comments in here. Let me get back. Okay, my man D. Alonzo said that he loves this topic. This is what it's all about. And he made that comment when Will had called in. Lee Stevens, she said love is definitely has to be unconditional when it comes down to your children. Your child's sexual preference isn't always a reflection of how you raise them. And then she told me to tell Will to hang in there. My man Reggie, what's up, bro? Glad that you tuned in. D. Alonzo again said all that your son needs is to be loved. Brad D. Alonzo said, thank you for sharing your story. Yeah, Lee, we heard about this major echo. We're trying to get it taken care of. My man Reginald said, Reginald Johnson, he said, as a former educator, one of the toughest days he had as a teacher was having a 5th grade boy come out to him. He was very upset about the fact that he didn't know why he liked boys, and at that point he started crying. He said that was a hard conversation for him to have because his father wasn't in his life. He became a father figure by default. He said he taught him since 3rd grade year, so they had a great relationship. He felt that he couldn't tell his mom or his brothers, so he told Mr. Johnson. So that's that 5th grade, though. That's what we're talking about.
9 years old. That's it.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about 9 years old.
No,
What, 10, yeah.
5th grade should be around 10.
Around
11.
10 or 11.
Yeah.
10 or 11.
But the scary part about that is what if Mr. Johnson was a creep?
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Johnson.
Mr.
Appreciate you that you're not a creep.
Right.
Reggie.
We're just
For sure,
hypothetical.
for sure.
Hypothetical.
Right. Not you. Appreciate that you're not a creep.
Because that could have been
You know,
anybody
but
that
you're right.
made them feel
Yeah.
that comfortable.
Right.
And that could have been definitely a creep that
But-
made them feel that
But
comfortable.
like you said, the simple fact that the child felt he had to, the father wasn't in
Couldn't
his
go
life,
to the
but there
parents,
was
right.
nobody in his life,
Correct.
uncles, cousins, nobody in his life that he could go to. You know, again, we all know that family members can be creepy too, but at the same time, you would rather that a child went to a family
Be
member to
comfortable,
speak
correct.
than to speak to somebody, I ain't gonna say off the street, it was his teacher, but somebody that's not within the family unit. Tina Bridges, what's up, lady? Great topic, and she feels as long as her child is happy, she will support him. Let's see.
And reinforce that happiness. That's the big thing.
D. Alonzo said exposing still isn't helping with the decision about telling them you love them and your door is always open. Reginald Johnson again said that in his opinion, hold on, I got to hit more because he said a lot. In his opinion, being heterosexual men and trying to understand how a man can be attracted to the same sex, because that's a world we don't live in. So we can be empathetic towards a situation without being judgmental. even though we don't see the thought process, we can still love unconditionally.
And I think
and that's the thing is that, I had a friend of mine years ago, female friend of mine, and seriously, really not even a friend, she was an acquaintance that I knew in a Facebook group. And she reached out to me because she knew that I coached football back in the days, and she reached out to me about her son. She was asking me if I would come and actually, act like I was coaching him and spend some time with him to see if I could see if there was any feminine traits within him, because she felt it was.
Right.
She said he was the biggest guy in his class. He was the biggest guy on the football team. She had him on the team because she didn't want him to be, quote unquote, gay. And she literally told me this. She's like, I am one of the people that's always said, no matter what, I'm going to love my child. She said, but it's easy to say until it actually hits home.
Yeah.
And she said it was rough for her to deal with it. That's why I asked, when I asked that question, what happens when, my son is 21 right now, but again, as far as I know, he's heterosexual. But I don't know, he may want to come out to me 3 or 4 years from now. And again, we all say, yes, I'm going to love my child unconditionally. And you probably will love them. But how do you handle that? That's a rough, that's something rough.
Even a bigger question right here, JT. Does entertainment and TV play a role in this at all? Because it's in our, I'm only asking, it's a sincere question. I hope not to offend anybody, but because it's more in our face, more prevalent now than ever before. Like you just said, the comics. It's a comic book, and it's putting it out there for the kids to see. So now you're questioning your sexuality, and I don't know. So I only want to ask anybody who has that answer can call in.
It's a great question.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a great question. But it goes to my question earlier of, are you born gay? The caller a minute ago, James said pretty much that he was.
He agreed.
Yeah.
And I agree.
But
Bradley. Yeah, that was Bradley.
Yeah,
I know the phone said James, but it was Bradley.
We're not gonna put no names out there.
Now, I understand. I feel that what it does is I'm trying to make sure my words are right.
Yeah, you got to.
I feel that it gives people more of a confidence, as Bradley would say, to live their authentic self because they see it more. And whether you want to call it accepted or not, it is seen more. So I think it gives people living, a different lifestyle more of a confidence to, like I said, live their authentic selves.
But not even that, JT. Does it make you wonder? Does it open up that mind? Does it make you think, like you're not even thinking that if you're seeing mother, father, but now on every show you're seeing.
That's my question, man.
So that's the question I have more or less. If you already like that, it's different. But what if you had you didn't know, and now you're thinking.
Which goes to the kid that's unsure.
Exactly, and that's why. That's my question.
Because it goes to that kid is unsure.
So now you're thinking like, hey, I might be gay, or am I gay? You know what I mean? So. And that's a deeper question, I think. And I wish anybody who could call in with that, have perspective on that, could call in. That'll help.
We got a caller. We got a caller waiting.
Yes.
She heard you.
Go ahead.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, wow,
Good. What you got to add to this? Go ahead.
Well, Darius is my son.
Hey, Mama D, what's happening?
Hey, how are you?
I always call her Mama D, but.
Hey, you know how much I love my son.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you got a chance to give a call in.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't have wanted to miss this.
All right, good deal. He's supposed to be calling in. I think he's going to call in later. The lines was a little busy earlier. So okay. So go ahead. Being a mother, of a gay son. What do you have to add to it?
Huh?
What do you have to add to the conversation?
Well, just like the guy said before, they can be born like that. we never know whether they born like that or not. But Darius, as when he was growing up, it was never a question. I mean, he just grew up like a normal guy. But you know, it was just never no questions asked. And then after he grew up and went off to college, he decided he wanted to tell me and Alonso that he was already, you know, that he was, you know, gay. But I mean, we already knew. But we didn't want to pressure him into telling us, so we just waited until he wanted to tell us.
And that's where I am.
But
Wow.
me and him as parents, we already knew. We knew from probably maybe the 7th or 8th grade. We knew.
Wow.
But I mean, I didn't want to put no pressure on him. That's why I waited on him to tell us.
Church.
I like that. So there you go, G.
Yeah, that's the same thing I said too, though.
Yeah.
She's definitely preaching to the choir, and I agree, and I don't want to. So I feel good. I appreciate that call. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm hoping he's going to be calling in sometime soon. He tried to call in earlier, but the lines was a little busy. D, I know you're looking. Go ahead and give us a call in. Get on the phone with your mama, boy.
So Mama D, just to make sure I understood, your answer is he was born gay. Is that correct?
I'm not necessarily saying that he was born gay.
Okay.
I'm just saying that
She knew it.
I don't know whether he just developed it or he was born like that, or I just know that when he came out, he was in college.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I really can't answer that.
Okay.
Well, I mean, what about this thought? I mean, life is all about the way we develop is through chromosomes. You know, so the way we're developed as people made is through chromosomes. So maybe you can be born that way because your chromosomes aren't, and that's deeper than the thought. You know what I mean? So because if somebody can be a hermaphrodite, for example, you know, have both parts, correct? So is that, what are they? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how can you say God has a plan like you have both, and now that person gets to a certain ages and chooses, oh, okay, I like men. And so now they deal with that part. Or well, I guess you can't do it, but you know, you get what I'm saying? Like, so if that can be a thing, why can't being born gay be a thing or lesbian?
So I think we got another caller. Go ahead, caller.
What you about to say, Mama D?
Hey, this is your
D, is that you?
What'd he say?
Yeah, it's me, but it's an echo. I hear.
Oh, now can you hear me?
Walk away from the computer a little bit. You're too close to it. That's where you get.
I'm not even on the video at all. I'm just calling in from my phone. I'm not near a computer.
Man, I'm looking at the thing say D. Alonzo Clay is watching.
I logged on to call you guys.
Now can you hear me any better?
Yeah. We can, Mama D. Go ahead with your thought.
Yeah, when Darius came out to me and his dad, he told us, he said, as long as y'all okay with it and y'all accept me for who I am, he said, I don't care what nobody else say. And you know what the answer was to that, JT. You know we love us some Darius.
Yeah, y'all do. I promise you. They do. They travel for Darius, for real. For real.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds funny calling them Darius. They travel for D. Alonzo. It sounds funny calling him by his government name.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to let you go so you can get him on there and let him talk.
Yeah. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you for your call.
All right, you're welcome.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, D, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you a little better.
All right, man. So yeah, exactly what me and you spoke about earlier. She actually confirmed that. Not saying that I thought you were lying or anything, but she actually confirmed everything. So you know, when we spoke earlier, there was a statement that you said to me that really helped you in regards to living the way you wanted to live. And what was that statement?
Mom, I know you're listening, forgive me, but how other people feel about you ain't none of your damn business.
That's true.
Do you realize, bro, he said that to me today, how other people feel about you ain't none of your business.
Correct. Because that's their opinion. Like,
man, that is so powerful. So I wanted him to say it first because now I'm going to start using it.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
I'm still in that.
Yeah, that's definitely stole.
So I know you've been looking at the whole show. What comments do you have about, what's been said?
Well, I definitely don't think you can feel like, for the guy who's calling about his 9-year-old son, you can definitely should not feel like he's a failure or a disappointment. The only thing you can do for him, and since he's had that conversation with you, is definitely let him know that you got to love and support him. Your door is always open. Because like the guy was saying earlier, just that one time that your child was ready to tell you something, and then you push them away for a video game, or you push them away for a game, or the mom pushed them away because she has to cook. And it's that one time that you're waiting for your child, you going back in there an hour later, like, you said you wanted to talk to me about something? Hey, what if they're hanging up from the closet and committed suicide because that one chance you got to tell your parents something, they push you to the side?
Man, that's heavy.
So therefore, you can't really put you in that situation. You have to put your feelings to the side, because at the end of the day, this child, you can only teach them the right and wrong things to do and about survival. As far as like their lifestyle, though, that's none of your business. You can't feel like a failure. You can't feel like, well, oh, blah, blah, blah. No, that's pride, that's ego, that's that macho BS. Like, it's a straight up pissing match. Oh, my son, he's a NFL superstar. Okay, but guess what? Somebody else's gay son can be a hairstylist and travel it, making the same amount of money, if not more, and he's a gay person in that same fact. But what does that mean?
And they could be
it's
an
not
NFL
even about
superstar.
the kids coming out.
Yeah, that's real. That's real, man. I appreciate that. That thought is profound. Seriously.
D, let me ask you this in regards to what Jeezy was saying earlier in regards to the conversation that he wants to have with his son, but is not sure if he should have the, or how to have the conversation. What do you say towards that?
My advice to him is the next time you get with him, let him know that, I think it's a perfect opportunity for you to, because first of all, blood doesn't make you fat. So therefore, you stepping in and being a parental figure in his life, you definitely can let him know that you're there for him to talk about anything. And not to make him feel like ambushed or insecure about it, but just let him know, like, hey, your sister brought something to my attention. I just want to let you know I love you regardless, and you my boy. And if you want to talk, just know you can always call me night or day, even if you're in town or not, because what we need is a support system to know people love and care for us. How we're living and deciding to do something is just like a kid. The more they tell you not to do something, don't you want to go do it, even though you're going to get your ass beat for it anyway? So that's the same thing. You can't teach a child, oh, date this girl. For what? They're going to be miserable and sad. Therefore, you can't choose for anybody else, but you can show them that you love and support them, and it may be hard for you. But you literally have to take you out of the equation, because that's why the suicide rates are so high. You have to teach them that they're loved at home, and teach them to wake up in the mirror in the morning time and tell them what amazing king they are. Whatever they decide to do with their personal lives has nothing to do with you, but just to let them know that self-love has to come early in the homes, as well as being able to check on mental health. Yeah, Black people have a lot of stigma on going to therapy and things of that nature, but at the same time, you don't necessarily have to go into therapy or any of those things if you are literally teaching your kids to just have self-love before they try to love and please anybody else.
Hey, I appreciate that. I'm definitely going to do that. That's a great response.
And see, let me give you all a little backstory on D. What was it, D. Alonzo, about 7 years ago when I first met you?
About 20.
What time you living in, JJ?
It was about 7, 8 years ago when I first got into modeling in Atlanta. And I think it was the second show that I'd ever done. He was like the backstage. What you call it? What'd you call it? The
runway coordinator.
Runway coordinator. So he's backstage now. Understand, I'm at the time 40-something years old, so I ain't no young buck, whatever. So I'm backstage, and he is walking around snapping. I mean, he's going off on people, and I'm laughing, and I'm trying not to laugh because I don't want to undermine his authority that's back there right now, right? And the reason we became friends is because I didn't treat him differently after I found out that he was gay. I didn't know he was gay at that moment, but I never treated him differently. But he used to run around, man, like I ain't gonna say a Chihuahua, that's too small. Not a German Shepherd, but that right between Chihuahua and German Shepherd, that's where he was. And
collie.
And he was snapping at folks, man, and they was scared. And I'm like, what is they so scared of this dude for? Maybe is it his beard? I didn't know, but he's really matter-of-factly. He has a hell of a gaydar. And I mean, he treats people with respect, and he is going to earn his respect. And with him earning his respect, he's able to speak, in a way to where people are going to listen. And I think he's actually helped a lot of men that was in the modeling industry back then in regards to both sides, heterosexual and, homosexual. He helped both people to actually come together, because unless you're actually looking for someone that is that way, looking at D'Alonzo, you wouldn't have noticed that when you first met him. So, that's basically how we met. And I done met the dude's men and everything. I done seen his heart broken by other men. So he's really matter-of-factly with his words. So as we go on with this conversation, if he say something, I promise you he ain't trying to hurt y'all feelings. That's just how he is, man. He's matter-of-factly with it.
Let me ask you a question, D. Your mom came on and said that you came out after you went to college, but they pretty much knew for a while. Was there a reservation from you to reach out to tell them directly? Were you waiting on them to talk to you? Were you waiting? What was the, time frame in terms of when you came out? Could you have done it sooner? Did you want to do it sooner? What was the thought process going into that?
Yeah.
You still there? Did we lose him? D, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Did you hear the question?
Well, I remember like it was yesterday. I came in for a Thanksgiving weekend, and this is when the Tyler Perry plays were literally like on VHS. And we were in the living room late that night watching the Madea's family reunion. And I sat down. She was on one couch, and I sat, and I was like nervous. And my nerves were about me finally just coming to grips with me finding out who I was, as a freshman in college. So it had nothing to do with, I hear the stories, and I have a lot of friends, in the community that have the same stories, but they didn't say anything out of fear of being disowned or anything of that nature. I never had a fear of being disowned or worrying about if they were disappointed. My fear was just being different. I didn't want people to tiptoe around me. I didn't want people to, have to treat me a certain way or feel like they had to treat me a certain way because of what they see on TV. Because when you see a gay male or you find out that somebody is a gay male, that doesn't mean that, they want every straight man, let's say that. And secondly, that they want to wear heels, they want to wear wigs, they want to be a female. But when you have been living the heterosexual lifestyle, and depending on when you were born and how you were raised as well, that's literally like a no-go for people. But that doesn't necessarily mean like that they can't love you. And my thing was just like coming to grips knowing that they were going to love me, but not really. I was wondering about the wrong things at the time. So knowing that my parents love me regardless of anything, and knowing that to this day, like my dad would literally shoot me a text message with a joke in it and telling me how much he loves me randomly. My dad, if it was left up to my mom and dad, I would probably be married. They don't even care if it was married to a cat or a dog. The fact that their son is happy is what it means. And it's easier said than done for a lot of people, but at the same time, like just being 35 compared to the 18-year-old me, I could give a damn what you think about D'Alonzo, because you can whisper in my ear, oh, you're this, that, and the third, but I was taught at a young age to love yourself and to believe in yourself, and don't be so hard on yourself. And you may trip up on those things down the line as you become into in adulthood, but that's what parents are for. They're to mold you, to let you know that you are a king, you are amazing in who you are. But until you literally go out and experience certain things, you don't necessarily know what you are. But it doesn't have to be to where you are assigned a title to whether or not you feel like you're going to be loved. It shouldn't be a doubt in your mind, nor should it be your decision to feel any type of way about your child's lifestyle that you know when they go up in to be 20 and 30, you don't get to have a say so then, because you don't know what they're doing until they call home and say, hey, mama, what you doing? So I never know. Me and my mom and my dad are like my best friends. We can laugh and talk and tell you good, bad, and ugly, and they're going to shoot it to me straight whether or not I want to hear it, because my biggest fear is being a disappointment to my parents. That's my biggest fear in the world. Like, we're all going to die. We're all going to, want something and it's going to be taken away. But that has always been my biggest fear, was literally being disappointed to my parents. And I shared that with them before. And to this day, that's never been a fear of mine anymore, because I already know, like, they said they're going to love me. And it may be cliche, we're going to love you regardless, but they love me regardless. And I've done some fucked up shit.
Haven't we all?
Yeah.
That's human nature.
No matter what your sexual preference is, we've all done some fucked up shit. That much I'm sure we can all agree on.
Very consistent.
That is a fact. Hey, man,
I appreciate that.
Lee said, sounds like you have amazing parents.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to see if anything else was directed towards the...
Oh, yeah, they're the best.
Yeah, we just talked to her. She sounds amazing. Great bubbly personality, man.
So D, let me ask you a question that may be a little bit different, but it's on the topic of, and a lot of comments I've read thus far on this show. As a gay man, do you feel there's any kind of agenda to push the openness of being gay to the world, from your perspective?
I mean, from my perspective, I don't think that there's an agenda more so than these groups or companies or advertisements are trying to be more inclusive. Because when you are more inclusive, you don't get to have the question marks of what if, or why wasn't he black? Why wasn't he white? And if you actually, it goes along the same spectrum. There are a lot of African-American people, even when it comes to like reality TV shows, if you watch those, like there are more black people within reality TV. People of color in general are just across the board in commercials, reality TV, competition shows, things of that nature, because, hey, we just want to make sure that we're not leaving this group out. And it doesn't matter whether or not Superman has come out and they have like this gay child or homosexual, bisexual, whatever title that they give them. At the end of the day, they're trying to be inclusive. And you don't have to let your children even know about it, because regardless of what the adults and their levels of cognitive thinking stop, that doesn't mean that thinking stops in general. You can argue with somebody who was born in 1930, but they would not be outside of that frame without always feeling like they're having to be defensive or something's against them. But just because somebody's cognitive level of thinking isn't where yours is, it doesn't mean it's right or wrong, or they should feel like there's an agenda. It's more so of opening your mindset of, well, wait a minute, I am a human being and I can say that I don't like something, and then just leave it alone. Because if we were paying attention to what we're literally dealing with on our own on a daily basis, we wouldn't have time to worry about who was gay, who wasn't, or there's an agenda being pushed. Are you taking care of home? Because if not, you literally got too much time on your hands to be worrying about if there's an agenda or not. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it from a broad perspective, that's a good thought. I mean, but you have to open your mind for that thought, because I did just now.
All right,
it is.
Angelo, you open me.
It is.
Open my question.
Would y'all like to comment on that?
I have one.
You opened up. You got a comment? Go ahead.
I know this is gonna go over like a, but I understand what everybody's saying, and I understand like if you have a son and he's gay, you're gonna love him irregardless. But like when I said, if he's bi and he's not sure and unsure, I just can't see where there's any fault and telling him the heterosexual side. So he has instead of just somebody that, say the first guy, but the first person he meets is gay. So if you're not speaking for the heterosexual side, all he's gonna meet is the gay side. And not saying there's anything wrong with that, but if maybe he didn't wanna, I'm just saying, just keep it open. I mean, it shouldn't just be so, I mean, I'm more concrete about it, but you gotta have, there's rights for but there's rights for heterosexuals also. And I'm saying everybody, when they say love everybody, you can say it's not love gays, love whites that came out the closet, black to come out the closet, if you're queer, whatever. It's love everybody. But on the same token, we can't be persecuted for being heterosexual just the other way. And I think you got to be careful when the pendulum starts swinging. You don't know how big it's going to be when it comes back. Yeah. I'm just saying that everybody should have rights, so we should press that real hard. Everybody with rights. And if you watched Dave Chappelle's comedy, and I'll just say this, because I'm not as far right as I'm sounding, because I'm just trying to just talk about a different topic. But when you look at how hard everybody's worrying about if little Johnny gets to see little Johnny, or if little Susie, what her inner feelings is, or if he feels he's a woman and everything else, and I believe it. I believe everybody has to have rights, but if just a smidgen of these people felt that same way about white and black and being black in America, we wouldn't have the problems we have. And it's so easy for everybody to jump on the game bandwagon, but the same people fight tooth and nail, and you have to justify as a black male being black in America. Yeah. So when I say speaking from the heterosexual side, I'm more so speaking for you got enough issues as it is. So talk to them. And just like anybody, you're gonna say, okay, if your son was a 4.0 in college and he said, I wanna join the circus and be a juggler, you're not just gonna say, yeah, sure, son, go juggle, here's a book. If that's his dream, let him juggle. Yeah. But you'd also say, hey, but what you gonna do with this 4.0? You do have this, physics degree. What are you gonna do with it? Let's work on a master's. So that's what you do as a parent. So I wasn't saying trying to talk to the guy, because if you're gay, if you sit like old Eddie Murphy said, if you're gay, you're gay. So you can't switch that up. So I'm not saying, but you're saying I wouldn't try to change my son if he was gay. If that's what his deal, I'm gonna love him, irregardless. But if he's on the fence and he's not sure, like he's gay, I don't do it. Of course, I'm gonna push him towards heterosexual, because I'm heterosexual. You're right. That's just being normal. Like if you're gay, you might say, yeah, go ahead, son. I'm just saying, let's be factual about it. Yeah. Everybody's saying kumbaya, right, and it's not that kumbaya in the community, but I don't think it should be a persecutable thing. Right. Either way. I see what you're saying now. Everybody right. I think it's a heightened sensitivity level in society, period. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest issue with everything. Like, if I speak on, don't take it personal. Everybody takes things personal, especially in our community, the black community. Yeah. Like, if I speak on, I don't know, educate me. Don't be afraid to educate me. And just like I can educate you the same, everybody has to have an open mind, not just an open mind to one side. And that's where I think we end up in this conversation. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Give it a mic.
Check. 1 2 1 2.
Bars.
Okay, well, I think that there is an agenda to push homosexuality on everybody in this day and age, for the simple fact that they did make the son in the comics bisexual. Like, why is that important? Why should that even be a topic of discussion? Like, why when you're riding in a train, they have ads of like women sticking their tongues out with other women. Like, why is that important? That shouldn't even be put into our subconscious. You know what I'm saying? So, and it goes down to the foods that we eat on a daily basis, even down to Similac, like baby formula. They have certain chemicals in there that alters your hormonal level and your testosterone, and like it alters what you think, your DNA, And yes, I think you can be born gay because of the simple fact that every fetus is born as a girl. Like, with 2 X chromosomes, and then the male has to.
That's what I was speaking on.
The male has to generate that Y chromosome, and sometimes the mother could be malnourished, or she could be eating the wrong things or whatever, and cause defects within her own womb. You know what I'm saying? So like some people have 6 fingers, some people got 6 toes. You know, like there are DNA effects that you know
You're 100% correct.
carries out until this day and age. But I feel like just with the baby, if y'all heard his comment when he was at his concert or on tour, like he said something about homosexuals. What'd you say?
Yeah, that was a little out of
It was
context.
wild. It was wild, but like the thing is, just like Dave Chappelle said, if he like murdered somebody in Walmart or whatever, his career was still going on, and he say one bad thing about homosexuals, and now his career like trickling down, like he can't even make no money now. People don't even want to put him on like work with him or nothing like that, and I think that is outrageous.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing Chappelle said was about Muhammad Ali. Why was it harder for him to change his name than it was for Jenner to come out and say he was a woman?
Yeah.
And that was profound. I was like, wow, that's crazy. They made a whole thing about Muhammad Ali changing his name from Cassius Clay, and nothing about he got Woman of the Year. You know, so I'm like, that's so. What you're saying is definitely.
Yeah, and have y'all heard of like I think it was a UFC match where a transgender male had fought a woman.
Yeah, that's crazy too.
And like he cracked her skull.
See, that's crazy.
Like y'all shouldn't even allow these
No.
things to be in sports. We all have genetic differences. It's a masculine and a feminine energy. It's a masculine ways y'all think, masculine ways we think. I mean, feminine ways we think. We have like 33 emotional nodes we go through, and men only have 3.
Facts.
Like it's genetically we're
Yeah,
different.
yeah,
You know, we need each
definitely.
other. It's a balance of life. So when you do stuff like that, subconsciously, and even with TV and animations, SpongeBob, all this little stuff, like they be putting stuff into our minds when it comes to ways of thinking or how you should think. Like,
And I think that's what me and Lo was speaking on. Just that
I think
question.
and it goes back to the
I
question.
have something to say.
Yeah, go ahead, D, because I was going to ask you that your response to those things, because and before you, right before this, let me just say this, because it kind of goes with what was just said. There are definitely, JJ brought this in, there are definitely forced agendas, but in years past we have never seen a working woman or black professionals or mixed couples, etc., in television or in media. All these things are intentionally done to reflect the society we live in. Change is uncomfortable, but as we become more inclusive, you can expect to see much more. Just tonight, there was several elementary school-age kids coming out to their families, and that was before the Superman news. And I wanted to read what Chyna said. She, and I hope I can say this, Chyna, but you know, she lived the life of a gay female, and she said she disagrees. The same way you have suggestive selling, seeing gay images, it has a subconscious effect. She also believes that there's an agenda. So I want to read those out before you respond. Go ahead, D.
Here's D.
D. Huh? D. Go with your comments, D.
Did you hear the question, D?
No, he's commenting on what she was saying.
Yeah, I heard it. I was trying to hear it back and forth because it's really difficult. I had to go to the video to actually hear what he was saying. But I got the gist of what she's saying. And just because something's on TV doesn't mean you have to watch it on TV. So if there's an agenda on something that someone does not like, turn the fucking channel. But that does have nothing to do with you, the world in its entirety being an agenda pushed. And why do you feel like there's a gay person who is pushing the agenda? Just because it's something gay and different doesn't mean that it's a gay person behind it pushing this quote-unquote agenda.
She didn't say
the
that,
world
D.
is quote-unquote receiving.
Okay. Yeah, she didn't say that, D. She was just saying it's no matter who pushes the agenda is pushed. And they may do it intentionally or unintentionally, but it's still pushed. And I do agree with you. It may not be a gay person, homosexual person pushing the agenda, but it's still to our face and the kids' face. Yeah. Every show, everything, yeah, everything.
Voluntary.
And why even we even on this subject? Weren't we talking about how you were coming out and how comfortable that is?
Oh, no, no
Like a
doubt,
topic
no doubt.
For like a whole nother series.
No doubt, no doubt. You know,
It's, I guess it was just a combination of things. As things come out in terms of, you know, that the gay community, I was asking you, kind of started, I was asking you your thoughts on it. You know what I mean? So I wanted to kind of just, you know, bring it up while you were on the line because you were a confident gay man. So I just wanted to know your confident opinion in terms of what's being seen. So don't be offended by it. It was just simply, I want to know your opinion. That's all. That's it.
Let me ask you this. Did I forget?
Oh no, trust me, I'm not easily offended. I've dealt with a lot being a gay man, so trust me. I wake up with 2 strikes every day, being black and being gay. So trust me, literally going to my car and worrying about a police officer being behind me, it could be my strike 3. So there's so many other things that we could be worried about rather than trying to worry about if our child or making our child feel uncomfortable about being gay or straight. Therefore, we're just teaching them unconditionally what we should be teaching anyway, because the textbooks in school are only teaching half of what quote unquote real history is. Because everybody said, oh, we were suppressed for 400 years. We still are suppressed, but it's literally under a completely different lens. So therefore, we all band together and stop worrying about who's having sex with who and who they choose to lay with, then this black community could be a whole lot better. And you don't have to like gay people or like what they do, but you better respect us because I demand mine. I'm not sure about everybody else.
Respect should be given to everybody, no matter your gender, no matter what your
exactly. But who
preference
said it's not about being respect? Because this the gentleman on the end in the blue shirt said that you have to have. There's different, basically, from what I was understanding from him, that there's a rules for gay people and rules for straight people, but rules are rules. And therefore, respect does come across the board, and it should. But if you feel disrespected, that's why you should be man or woman enough to open your mouth and say you feel disrespected.
Okay.
So I heard somewhere, I'm not sure how true it is, but there was a household and in the family where the child wanted to be identified as the opposite sex. And they tried to, I guess, lawmakers or whoever, I don't know, they tried to make it to where the parents had to call their female child a boy. And like, if they didn't, like, they could get in trouble. Do you think that that's right?
That's so far from right. You should be able to call or identify whatever you feel comfortable with identifying as. And nobody can, just like, it goes so many different levels. Just like with this vaccine, how can you make somebody get it where you're going to fight? It's the same thing. You can't mandate something. You can't mandate something where somebody has to live and make personal decisions for people. That's not how it works.
I have a question for you. By being, you're an African-American male and you're a gay African-American male, your own words. And how do you feel about Dave Chappelle if you've seen the show? And how do you feel, do you think that, I think some people in the black community feel as if some of the shine's taken off when the light was finally put back on us because of some of the incidents involving law enforcement and African Americans in the last couple of years. And now it's almost like it's a push to push that agenda, the rainbow agenda ahead. Do you think they should be together? Do you think just wanted to know your thoughts on that.
Well, I honestly feel like these issues have been going on for way before right now. So it doesn't matter if they're pushed to the side or whether they're pushed together. Everybody lives under the same damn sky that I see. So at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter. Like, these people in Congress have all to do with that. And like rights and different. And even when it comes to the police, we know all police aren't bad. But before, we were literally having to walk outside and going to get a sweet tea and some damn Skittles and not knowing that we were going to be able to make it back home is when it really started to become prevalent, because people were pulling out their phones and holding these police officers accountable. So and even with the Dave Chappelle thing, it's just like, okay, so we're going to take it all the way back. This has been going on for years. If that's the case, let's go ahead and just dig Bernie Mac up, slap him in the face for making the gay joke about his son and his nephew and the milk and cookies, and then bury him again. It is what it is. It's comedy. And the young lady mentioned something earlier about the baby being canceled. The baby should have been canceled because there are women that he offended. There are not only just the gay community where everybody keeps harping on. He didn't harp on the gay community because what he said was, if you walking in here and you're doing something about HIV and AIDS, which gay, straight, bisexual, men, women, and whatever you classify as can have that. So his agenda was, he should have been canceled because that was an agenda to make it seem like that was okay for anybody who is HIV negative to yell and rant, while everybody else who may be in his audience who loves his music should feel bad about being HIV positive. It's absolutely absurd. So yes, he should, and he was just made an example out of it.
Should have been canceled because of his music. He's horrible.
But I agree with that, D. Yeah, because he wasn't just targeting the gay community at all. I felt like that was uncalled for, personally.
Let me go over some of these comments real quick. I got a lot of them that I haven't been able to get into. So Reginald said, in regards to the being inclusive, he said it's society's way of making all inclusive. They say love is love regardless of gender. Again, being a straight male, it's hard to process the gay lifestyle because logically and biologically, it makes no sense to him. So it's a choice to educate yourself about the alternative lifestyle. Let's see, next comment. My wife said, love me some Mama D. Alonzo Clay. Knew she was coming. Goonie Bird, what up, bro? We have to say the same thing. He made a comment, but I'm sure it was on something that was said at the time, so if I say it now, it's not going to make no sense, but hold on. He said, your lifestyle is no one's business, same as sex life. Ernest, what show was that? I can't remember. I told you it was 7-8 years ago. I told you, boy, I can't remember last Tuesday. Lee said that you have amazing parents. When you came with the question, he said, great question, Goonie did. Reginald said, I think this was towards you. That's because gays and lesbians are not just black. The community crosses several spectrums. So when you offend or upset a black gay man, you're more so upset at a gay man who happens to be black. Goonie likes, where she go? Likes her points. Yep, she said, don't know who you are, but you're on point. He feels it's an agenda. And Bradley said this, I wanted to get to this. When you were saying something about the defect, he was like saying that being gay is not a defect. I think he kind of took it out of context of what you were saying and everything.
Yeah, Gina brought that up too. She said it was the fetus, no, the egg, yes.
Yeah, Goonie said it's an agenda no matter what shows you watch now, there is an agenda. Well, in regards to shows, I think the agenda is to get you to look at it again.
Yeah, because the agenda's
honestly, I think people take that way too seriously. Yeah, I think people take what's shown on TV way too seriously.
But there are constant narratives.
Yeah,
like people set the narratives. If you watch sports, no matter what, that's what they do, and that's on us to not get caught up in the narrative that they're trying to portray. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What D. Alonzo was saying.
I think there's no different than a commercial. A commercial's agenda is to get you to buy something. I look at basketball or football all day. They show Bud Light all the time. I ain't going to the store and buy Bud Light.
Not one time.
Not because of the commercial. So I think that's, there's agendas all the time in entertainment when people make music.
But I think Darius was right when he said, I think when he said he didn't feel like it was an agenda, but it was to make everybody feel inclusive.
I'm with that one.
Inclusive, yeah. I think it's still an agenda.
Right.
But it's an agenda to make everybody inclusive. And Darius, Kiki wants to know, at what point did you personally realize that you were gay? what age, at what point did you, excuse me if it's the wrong word, did you accept it or acknowledge it to yourself?
I'm here. I didn't really necessarily. I just knew for me when I was a freshman in college, it was time for me to tell my mom, only because she's my best friend. So I just felt bad about like if when I lived in Birmingham, my best friends would go up to Atlanta and we would just go hang out, and it's just like wouldn't like doing nothing bad, but either with my gay friends, and I just felt like keeping that from her was like keeping a part of like my connection with my mom away. So therefore, like, it ain't like she was like, oh, don't you go nowhere? Because I was always raised, you don't go nowhere if you don't have any money to pay for yourself. But also, she always told me to enjoy myself in the same breath. So for me, that was just something in my mind. But I always knew when I was younger that I was a little different, because my male cousins saw me as a dude, but I wouldn't always respect it on the same level. But it's just a little different playing field there, because that didn't hurt my feelings.
What do you mean you wasn't respected on the same level?
At the time, what it did for me, it basically just made me continue to just like build up the strength that I knew I was supposed to have anyway for the world. So I wasn't going to be able to handle it from my cousins. I'm definitely not going to be able to handle it from a stranger. And unfortunately, I have the mindset and the thought process to know that no one controls my thoughts but me.
But you know that as you got older. What about, I guess the question is, like, at what age, you say you knew you were different, but are you saying that you didn't really acknowledge to yourself that you were gay till you went to college, or did you acknowledge it earlier?
Well, I'm sorry,
just
but
came out?
I knew I was different. Being gay is so a lot of people is an act.
Okay.
But I didn't know what it was I liked. I just knew that I was closer to my female cousins and I was different in that capacity. I played football, basketball, and ran track, and I did it all through high school, while also being on the step team in high school and literally performing at halftime of the games and then putting my jersey on and going to sit with the players. And no one was going to check me or do anything about that, because I was living out loud, period. But at the end of the day, no, there wasn't a certain age that it was like I had to come to grips with, or whatever the case may be, with just knowing I was gay, because everything is focused on the label instead of just letting your children know that they're going to be loved unconditionally regardless of. So there's not necessarily an age that comes with coming out and being gay or anything of that nature, but to also be able to know, as the parental figures in these children's lives, that you have to be able to have conversations with them, that you're not going to always be able to be there to see what they're seeing or do what they're doing. And when they come in with those questions, you have to have a non-biased opinion and let them know that there's this side, there's that side, but you also are individual and you have to just do what's going to make you happy. Because you're deciding for children is literally going to do nothing but make them completely hate you as an adult, because they've literally tried to live for you and never wanted to please themselves.
I like that.
Yeah, I was talking with a guy the other day. I was telling Jae Tea about it. I was telling him about the topic of this particular show, and it brought tears to his eyes. And what he said was his son is gay, but because of his being the father's beliefs and religious beliefs and feels, the son never acknowledged the father. And now he said it's been 15 years since he's seen his son. And he said that, he wakes up every day hoping his son would come through the door, because he just loves to just talk to him, but the son doesn't respond to him. So I asked him, well, did you have any negative conversation? Was it, And he said, no, his son just assumed that he wouldn't accept him. So he's been estranged for 15 years to his son. I asked, well, have you reached out to him? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's my question.
And he said he, tried to reach out to him through social media, but the son doesn't respond. So I'm not sure there's
the mother isn't in his life or anything.
The mother's there. The mother knew. The sister knew, but he didn't know.
So does the mother still talk to the son?
Yeah, everybody talks to him but the father.
So
but he doesn't come home. He said he hadn't been home in 15 years.
Yeah, it's because of the dad. Yeah, so he got to go through the pain. He got to go through the mom.
Nah, I could actually, I could see it being just that story.
I agree.
I guess I'm different, because even if, I'm not I wouldn't be ecstatic but if that's who my son is, I'm gonna love him. But if me and my son had a rift, I don't care what it is, I'm not gonna let it go 50 years.
Right.
I'm flying.
Right. I see what you're saying, but you going. You
Gonna close that gap.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
love your kid, I would just let it go and,
But
Sean-
Darius, I would imagine that you said we have a caller.
Sean, are you still on the line?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. Hold on, Darius. Go ahead, Sean.
I hear him on here, but I can't hear him. Oh, okay.
Sean.
Deshaun, you still there?
You speak to him again, Dwayne. Apparently
Yeah,
heard
speak
you.
up a little bit too.
Yeah, I'm still here.
There you go.
Go
Just
ahead.
that delay.
Go ahead.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Peace and blessings. How y'all doing?
Hey, peace,
Good,
peace,
bro.
peace, brother.
Yo, this great conversation, man. Great conversation. To my brother on the other line, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
All right, great. I think there were a lot of great points being said, man. I just feel like there's a lot of emphasis being put on if you gay, you straight. And I mean, me being a father of 3 kids, I mean, my son is 15, my daughter's 13, and my youngest daughter's 6. And I just feel like if being gay, at the end of the day, I don't really need to know who you're sleeping with, but when it comes to if you're born that way, I think a lot of people are born that way, to be honest with you. And I just personally feel like certain conversations you don't really have to have yet. Like you said, you felt different. You were different. If my kid is different, I'm gonna love him anyway, regardless of the fact. I just feel like with my brother in the blue, he made some points where sometimes it's a little difficult to be heterosexual because if you say that you're not into the lifestyle or you don't want to hear about it, or you might not want to go to a gay bar, or automatically you just hate gay people, and I don't think that's fair in society. And I feel like to the other point being made about entertainment, yeah, it's definitely pushed a lot in entertainment, and kids are very, they watch everything, they see everything.
Sponges.
So this is really why we're having this conversation, because kids at a younger age are trying to identify with their sexuality when they don't even know what they really like sexually yet.
Facts.
And that's exactly the point I was making.
And I feel like, at the end of the day, listen, man, if a person comes up to me right away, and you just tell me, yo, I'm gay. I'm like, what they got to do with price of tea in China? Like, I don't really care about who you sleeping with. If you can't have a regular conversation, that don't mean much. I'll give you an example. I was at my job, and we were watching a football game. And this brother there, he's gay, whatever, We watching the game. I'm like, yo, you watch sports? He was like, no, I'm gay. I don't watch sports. I'm like, what does that got to, I don't understand.
And that doesn't mean anything, because I'm a gay man and I still watch football and
that was totally irrelevant.
I'm watching tennis.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like
he was championing for something other than sports. Because he could have just said, I don't watch football. I don't watch sports.
I guess he just wanted to say he was gay. I don't know. That was weird. Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. That was weird. Sean,
I think there's too much emphasis put on that, and I think that, to be honest with you, right now, we need to really sit down and really take the shine off of this, because when it comes down to, if you gay or you straight, I think like the country is going to continuously be divided, and I think that everyone's now, and a lot of people are curious, and like I don't understand, like, why do I have to care about this? Like, and I feel like Dave Chappelle was needed because of what he said, and he was 100% right. And I don't believe in the cancel culture. I believe, like, if you feel the way you feel, you stand 10 toes down with how you feel, then that's all right. I don't think you should be, hurting anybody because of their sexuality. But I feel like Dave Chappelle was right. A lot of people are sensitive. I mean, growing up, there were a lot of gay guys, but ain't nobody bothering. Like, yo, you do what you do. I don't know what you're doing in your bed. I don't really care. So I think Dave Chappelle was 100% right.
But unfortunately, there are so many. There's probably 20% of the people in the world that are like you, and the other, and not to call anybody anything, but for the lack of educating themselves on anything other than that. For you, you don't care because you actually have something else better to do with your life. But you have so many other people worried about who's sleeping with who. Oh, girl, did you hear so-and-so was gay? It doesn't matter. But did you just go tell them that you were sleeping? Did you just went and cheated on your husband? It's the same thing. Exactly. So it really doesn't matter who's sleeping with who. You just want something to talk about, so the attention isn't on you for the negative things that you're doing.
Right.
But it really doesn't matter because at the end of the day, like you said, it doesn't matter who's sleeping with who.
But
because anybody know I got a heart of gold and I'll give my shirt off my back for anybody. Jae Tea is a straight man and I've never ever come at him in any type of sexual manner other than calling him my big brother. And he will always be that. And Kai is my big sister regardless of. They don't look at me like, oh, by the way, Diolando's gay. Like, it's not an announcement when I come around because they already know I'm good people and they're not going to invite me around if they know I'm not good energy, or for that matter, for any other energy that's going to be around them is nothing but positivity, so I don't have to worry about that. But I don't walk in a room and, hey, I'm the gay guy in the room. It doesn't matter. You ask, I'll tell you, because I'm very proud of who I am. But that doesn't mean that's literally a label that goes along with the king that my mother and father raised. Being a gay man has nothing to do with how you treat people, because a lot of straight people who classify themselves as straight have hatred in their heart and don't know how to treat people. But yet and still you will go to that person with hatred in their heart because they're having sex with a woman rather than a gay man with a heart of gold that will give you advice to save your life. But yet and still you're going to jump off the bridge with the man who literally has so much hatred in his heart. We're literally thinking about the wrong thing.
But let me ask you something, Darius, based on what you just... But are there people out there, and I guess it can go all the way up through adulthood, but let's start with the kids. Are there kids that grow up as adults that are confused, that don't know if, or is there such thing as I don't know what I am? I mean,
as an adult, you mean?
As a kid,
you like what you like. Why do you
adult.
have to know what you are in general? Why do you have to put a label on yourself to like what you like? It doesn't have to be an area of confusion anywhere. Experience something and live life to the fullest, because as parents, you have to teach people that tomorrow's not promised. So why would you sit a child in his room, think about what you did because you went and clicked on that gay website? No, because what if the child goes in there and feels like he can't talk to his parents any longer because of something that he's knowing in the future is going to be something that he's going to have to live with, not them.
So how do you, in your opinion, do you have kids, or you plan on having kids?
Nope, I got enough cousins to not have them.
So I guess what the question would be, you know, how you got Jeezy right here, you got the caller earlier. Well, your son, you said you pretty much know he's gay, but you have a caller that's son is unsure. You know what I mean? So if you have a child that's unsure, and it kind of goes into what everybody's talking about the agenda part of it, you know, how would, in your opinion, coming from a gay man that's accepted it, you know, what should be the conversation then to a kid that's
it doesn't have to be a conversation that's brought to a child who's confused because first of all, what question are you going to ask?
That the child is seeing.
There's no question to ask.
Say again, I'm sorry.
There's no question to ask them because they're going to feel pressure. They're going to feel like they're literally under a microscope. Just let them know the only conversation that could be had is, hey, this might be difficult for you, but at the end of the day, this is something that you're going to have to decide for yourself. Unfortunately, I don't know that, but I'm here to listen. I'm here to give you my advice on how to love people in general, but I can't let you know when you wake up in the morning if you want to be, if you're going to be happier with a man or a woman. Those are called life experiences, and nobody can teach them. They just have to go through it.
Okay.
Ask me that. I'll just be like, what is being gay? You know, and I want to see what they're gonna tell me. Because I never had a conversation, the birds and the bees with my son, but I just, I took him to the car, I made him open the hood, and I said, you feel that right there? That's how you open the hood. Just, you know what I mean? It's one of them things. Is like, what am I supposed to, like? What do you know about sex? What do you know about being gay? Like, what do you know about it? And if they can't say that, they be like, "Oh, guys make me feel good. Oh, that's my friend, and I love him." I said, "I love all my homeboys. Right. Oh, you're a girl. You don't know." So I feel like you got to really find out what they know, and that goes back into entertainment. Media is pushing this stuff, and these kids are saying because they may have a girlfriend that they love their homegirl and they cool and they hug and they chill. Now I'm gay. Like,
that's a great.
What is being gay?
Yeah,
I agree. And if that's the extent of the conversation,
but the educating is coming from home, though. You have to be able to educate your children on love in general. So it ain't really about whether they see something on TV. If they have questions, you have to be able to, like I said before, take a non-biased stance on it and just let them know that love is love.
It's crazy because
Regardless of what you feel, and not you in general, but just you as a man, because it's mostly men that are here on the panel and listening probably. But I feel like no one's fussing at you for going and getting married or being on your third and fourth wife or your third and fourth husband for that matter. So why is it that it's such a big stigma on whether or not somebody wants to be with a man or woman or both? And you know it can go to multiple things where people are like living polyamorous lifestyles. But guess what? Me and my wife, we went to Vegas. We ain't gay, but we fucked around with this other girl. So what do you call it? You can't pick and choose when you want to have these type of conversations.
I think you can when it's a child you talking to.
Because you get to tell, but you get to have a conversation.
I second that great point.
Different things though, because as a parent, you're still supposed to be educating your children. It's not a right or wrong time to talk about sex, lifestyle, or any of that. So you as a parent have to be able to be comfortable about it. But you, my brother, are one of a kind because most parents don't even have the mindset of the things that you're thinking. They're not going to go straight to, well, what do you know about sex? What do you know about being gay? They're not going to ask that. They're going to be like, well, you know, gay wrong. That ain't right. But you don't know what's right or wrong. Have you educated yourself? Right. So it goes way further than that.
Hold on, we got one more call on the line. Chena, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it goes back to, what you said in the beginning when I first tuned in about, upbringings. Like my upbringing was a Christian household, religious, spiritual, and that was my foundation. So yes, I did have that, but I made decisions for myself that were uninformed as a child that affected me as an adult now. I'm almost 40 years old and I have never been in a relationship with a man, because I was gay from 16 to the age of 32. So I'm having an identity crisis. I'm trying to figure out who I am now because I didn't take the time to figure out who I was then. I was so led by what other people thought I should do on both spectrums. People called me gay and tomboy and this and that before I had a sexual preference, but that did have an impact on the route that I chose in life. And I think that it's very important that we distinguish between talking about children and talking about adults. Children, like we said previously, they're impressionable, and we have to do our due diligence to make sure that they're making the best decision possible. Like I see posts and videos and stories about people who have had gender surgeries and now they want to go back and they can't. What do you have to say about stuff like that? They have completely, changed their gender and now it can't be reversed. So I think, this conversation is very important because we're talking about children and, how to best approach that situation. And I think, like one man waters, one plants, and God adds the increase. Nothing that my mother said, nothing that the pastor said, nothing that, my friends said changed how I felt. I had to experience, the different ins and outs of relationships, be it homosexual or heterosexual, to make the best decision for myself. But looking back over my life, I wish that this wasn't a taboo topic back then where it was just unspoken. So just having this conversation, whether we agree or agree to disagree or whatever, is very valuable to our community because in the past that was not something that, we were privy to. So we had to wing it, make the best decision that we could possibly make. But, we're talking about children and, I think love is important. I think education is important, and I think that that the children themselves have to experience things with information to make educated, informed decisions.
Okay, sis. China, what's up? Long time.
China.
I like that.
China, I'm glad you called in because I finally figured out the question I wanted to ask earlier and I forgot it and we running out of time, but I'm gonna ask this here. And D. Alonzo, you can chime in.
Everything that you're saying, I can only hear like an echo of you, like maybe coming in from somebody else's mic, but I'm trying to read the subtitles.
Okay, I'm trying to speak clearly so that they come across the right way. Okay, in regards to, I mean, you said that you have lived the gay lifestyle for most of your life. Now, woman on woman sexual chemistry has always pretty much been accepted by American society. If you saw a woman outside kissing another woman, hell, most of the guys might stop and stare.
Right.
Man on man has been looked upon totally differently.
Right.
If a woman has a sexual experience with another woman, and most people say it's changed now, but back then it was in their college days. Oh, girl, everybody's kissed a woman in their college days. They weren't considered gay. They were considered bisexual. But if a man kisses a man, anytime, whether he
definitely a double standard.
Whether he is having sex with a woman the following week or whatever, he's not bisexual. He's pretty much termed gay. Both of you comment on that, and then I know we got to get off. But can both of you comment on that? Why do you think that is?
Go ahead, Chino.
I just think that that's that's kind of ignorance. It's kind of men are supposed to be masculine in society's eyes, so they expect men to shun their feminine side and to just be a man. But I just think that what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I believe that God did not create people to be gay. That's what I believe. And when I came out of homosexuality, I said, I feel like I wasn't born gay, and I was attacked for that. But, I feel like it's just not right to just have men agree with it when it comes to two women, but shun it when it comes to two men. I think if it's right, it's right. If it's wrong in a person's eyes, and it should be no exception. So to me, when it comes to me, I look at like how God looks at us. When Jesus was on the cross, he said, I have to step back from this situation because I respect your opinion. I mean, I respect your right to choose. We all have free will, but in terms of holiness and what's right in God's eyes, he can still love you, but can you go to heaven gay? That was my battle that I dealt with, and I can't speak for anybody else, but I just feel like, when I looked at the situation, I said, God, I don't want to be wrong in your eyes. I don't care about how I feel. I don't care about how people feel, and I can't say, oh, I've been delivered from homosexuality. No, that's not my stance. I have made a conscious decision not to perform in homosexual activities, so you can call it what you want to, but I just think that from society's perspective, it's attractive and it's cute and sexy and whatever for it to be two women, and it's disgusting or whatever the view is, which I totally disagree with. People have the right to love who they want to love, just like they have the right to go and commit murder, but you have consequences for your decisions, be them good or bad.
Wow.
Right on.
What consequences do you get from being gay?
I said from your decisions, period. Not saying from being gay or from being straight or from whatever decisions you make, you have repercussions of your choices. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so D. Alonzo, in regards to me asking that about, you heard the question. What's your thoughts on that?
I definitely agree. I agree with what she said. It's definitely a double standard because it's just like with Nas X when he kissed the boy at the BET performance. It was just like, y'all want our kids to see this? Okay, so when Madonna and what was her name, Christina Aguilera, whoever the hell she was, they kissed. on the MTV Awards years ago. Oh, it was so hot for everybody to see. But it goes from a double standard to when you have a boy and a girl, and you can just take it back to the kids, and you're a parent. All you men up there, I definitely would love to hear this question, the answer to this question. How would you respond if you had a son and a daughter, and your son came out gay, and then your daughter didn't, and vice versa? You would probably be more accepting of your daughter being gay than your son, correct?
Listen, I will be the first to answer, and I have said the answer already. Having a gay son, I would, and that's just my truth. And it's sad, and I admit that, but that's my truth. And you're right.
Oh, no, I completely already knew the answer to the question anyway, so you guys didn't really have to answer it, but I'm just saying the double standard starts way earlier on than when people just decide on whether they want to see a man or a woman kissing on TV. They already made up in their mind how they feel about gay people, whether they want them to be hurt or live prosperous, happy lives. They still already have a question mark when it comes to gay people, and not even a question mark, more so an X.
But
you can't change their mind because gay is wrong, but you don't know what people have been through. You don't know what we have to go through on a daily basis. You can choose for you, and that's it. You can choose to watch what you want to watch. You can like just going to church. You can choose to pray to who you want to pray to. You can believe in what you want to believe in, and you can be raised however you want to. But when you become an adult and you open your eyes and you literally have to start paying bills for yourself, none of that really don't even matter anyway. So therefore, how you were raised and what you believe in, you just better keep God first and just know that what's meant to be gonna be anyway. So it really don't matter who you sleep with.
But D, to not let you be.
But I think now they're taking away the choices because, it used to be when you go in the women's bathroom, you see women. When you go in the men's bathroom, you see men. If you don't want to see men in the women's bathroom now, then you're looked at as negative. But that choice has been taken away from you. We don't control what we see on TV. We don't control what the children.
Yes, you do. You change the channel.
But after you've already seen it, how do you unsee that?
Right. What is it to unsee? It's life. And just because it's not a part of your life doesn't make it right or wrong. So change the channel or get it out of your mind. You control your own thoughts. So that's very simple.
It's still influential, and not everybody has enough willpower.
Unless you're allowing it to be an influence, because it's everyday life. So what they're doing to television is showing how it works all the way around.
But D,
hold up, D. Wait. China, I'm saying that right. It's not China. It's China. Yeah, China. I that's what I was going to get to when when I made the comment about Bud Light in regards to your comment in regards to some people's probably thinking about Bud Light and made them go get it. You're being.
I didn't catch everything you said about Bud Light. Yeah, it's really, really muffled.
Yeah, the comment that you made on Angelo's live about the Bud Light commercials. I'm trying to see if it comes across.
You want to read it again?
He said something about a comment you made about a commercial or something.
Yeah, like if you're watching the Super Bowl, they have a pizza commercial come on. You might have already just eaten, but you see the pizza commercial, and now all of a sudden you're on your phone dialing Pizza Hut because you have been sold something suggestively. That's what I'm referring to.
Right, and
but you still have control over all of that.
Yeah, that's my thing is that. Yeah, there are people out there. You just said something that was powerful. You said that some people do not have the power within to not be influenced by certain things.
Yeah, because some people are going to say, yeah, I just saw a pizza commercial, but I'm not hungry, and they're going to dismiss that. But some people are going to order pizza simply because they saw the commercial.
And you know what? I'm praying for those people. Right. Because the thing is, there's influences everywhere. There's exactly. If you're driving down the street, there's a Popeyes commercial. A Popeyes sign. I'm gonna be honest with
Billboards.
You. That one gonna get me. I ain't gonna tell you no wrong. That Popeye sign get me every time.
But not when you full.
But bro, it'll get me when I'm full. Now that I got the air fryer, because I will take it home and air it up, and it's just as crispy as it was if I just bought it.
Well, you're the people I'm praying for.
Yeah, my thing is with that is, in regards to it, as much as there are homosexual or gay or whatever you want to call it, lifestyles being portrayed on television, there's also, quote unquote, as they say, the regular relationships being portrayed on television. So, and now I'm doing what you usually do. I'm going against everything that I want to say. Yeah, I'm going right. So if the gay community said we're being influenced to be straight, what would you say to that?
What was the question again?
If you're looking at something on,
that's true.
you should say it's true.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, D, I was saying that if you know, as much as there are, because let's face it, over the last 10 years, as you said, more inclusive. Some people say they're trying to push it on us. Whatever you want to say, it is out there a lot more on television, in entertainment, commercial, everything is out there more. But there's also still what they call the quote unquote regular relationship still there. So what do you say if the gay community said you're trying to influence the gay community in being straight?
When we used to see, TV shows back in the day, we wanted, as women, wanted to be homemakers. We wanted to be wives. We wanted to be mothers. We wanted to cook and clean because that's what we saw on TV. So I think it's still the same now, but people want to be accepted. They want to fit in. They want to do what's trendy. They don't want to be, they don't want to feel like they're left out and the world is participating or enjoying something that they are not. So I think it's still the same thing. We gravitate to what we see. We see a red flag challenge on Facebook and now everybody's making posts about red flags. People are, a lot of people are easily influenced.
Very true. And that's not even, it goes further than that. It's not really about being influenced. It's about people being innovators. They should be innovators instead of followers. You should be able to follow your own sense. And yeah, the red flags are cute, but it's not funny. I don't post them.
What's the red flag?
I'm not familiar with the red flags either.
Don't ask. No, forget it.
Okay, we'll
forget it. We don't want to talk about it on Classic Konversations.
This is to be continued.
I just don't want to go into another dialogue.
It's just something that's trendy that people see and they jump on the bandwagon because everybody else is doing it. And when I came out being gay, it was 2001. It was still a lot of gay people in the closet, or it wasn't socially acceptable, and it was a lot of hate against gay people. So people were in the closet, but I was the type of person, I was the type of person that I really didn't care, which you seem to obviously be the same type of person. So we're strong-minded on a different level than the average person. And that's what I'm referring to. A lot of people aren't leaders, individuals, able to go against the grain. They are followers and they're going to do what everybody else is doing or what they think is cool. So that's how we go back to, does a child really understand what being gay even means, what it entails, what they'll deal with society, with their families, with, like me being almost 40 and now I desire children and I've never even had a boyfriend, so that goes back to making informed decisions, education, love, and, just a lot of people communicate, but they don't communicate effectively, so that's really what it's all about. To like my mom, she's a pastor, and she, was like, well, I love you, but I don't like the decisions that you make, but that's your decision. I'm gonna love you through it. And God, allowed her to see me on the other side of that decision, so never stop praying for your children. Never stop, believing that they are going to be in God's hands, regardless of whether they are in jail, prison, homeless, whatever. You have to, just accept them and love them through that. But you don't have to agree with the decisions that they make.
That's good.
Hey, Gina.
Exactly.
Gina, that was outstanding. You sounded more and more like your mother every day. I truly appreciate the call in. I'm glad you saw my tag and joined this conversation because I knew you had something to say about it.
You got a lot of fans on my live too, girl. You gonna have to tag you. We have to tag you a little more.
And the scariest thing I heard you say all night was that you almost 40. That scared the devil out of me.
Absolutely. Have me on the show even. I'm down.
He just feeling old, Chino. That's it.
That's all.
I changed her diaper, so for her to say what her age is scary. But listen,
are you
that was a personal? That was personal.
now. Hey, but listen, appreciate those call-ins, Darius. Because obviously,
Yes,
what we gained from this conversation is there's gonna be a part 2.
Yeah.
Because we just scratched this surface.
Man.
But the dialogue you all gave tonight was absolutely outstanding. We love the different viewpoints, and that's again what JT started to show off with. That's what Classic Conversations is all about. It's just having dialogue. People giving different conversations, having different dialogue, different opinions. We can agree or we can agree to disagree, but the dialogue was absolutely wonderful.
It's needed.
But we ran way over time. So Chyna, thank you for your call. Darius, thank you very much for your call. We appreciate every comment that was made.
You want to go back into this next week? We can say it right now if you want to.
You all got our message board on fire tonight. Phone calls didn't stop coming.
I know.
Long time. I'll be back.
Right. Phone calls coming right now.
D, I appreciate it.
We send them in the voicemail. Oh. Rima, hey, next week, Rima, you're gonna be the first caller. Matter of fact, you can come down next week.
We're gonna bring Chyna in.
Yeah.
If she in town, boy, that'll be outstanding.
Yeah. Hey, again, Chyna, my sentiments exactly, man. I appreciate you calling in, especially so that we can get the point of view from a woman's side of things. I have a funny feeling we're gonna get some more point of views from women next week. D. Alonzo, you know the deal, bro. You know what it is.
For sure.
Appreciate you, man.
I'm definitely using that advice.
Outstanding. Y'all feel free to get ready to chime in on the top 5. I don't know what it is.
Oh yeah. Both of y'all stay on the phone right now. We do a top 5 at the end of each show, and
Sean's still on there.
We don't know what it is.
We didn't forget about your sugar.
Sugar Sean.
He's still there.
One good thought.
Yo, I'm here. Peace and blessings, man. Thanks for having me on the line.
Hold up.
I'm listening to everything, man.
Stay right there. We're gonna do a top 5. Hold on 1 second.
Callers, we're not taking no more calls.
Oh yeah, no more phone calls. We're trying to go home, y'all.
Hello?
Oh, that's D. Alonzo?
I thought you said Halle Berry. Let her talk.
Tell him, stay right there.
I can't even really hear him.
Yeah, stay right there for the top 5. We got everybody coming on, y'all. We about to give y'all top 5.
Hold on, we're gonna give
you. Stay on for the top 5.
Yeah, we're gonna give you the what?
All right, Jadakiss. Top 5 or alive.
Wait a minute. We ain't said the top 5 yet.
Yeah, wait a minute.
He got his own top 5.
Hold on.
Jadakiss first?
You know, I got my own top 5, but let's go.
But wait, hold tight.
Yeah, we did the rap. I think we did the rappers like 3 weeks ago.
Did we do
rappers?
Did we do?
No, we didn't. That's a good one.
All right, here we go. Top 5. Your top 5. We didn't do game. You sure? We did game. We did game show. I thought
we
so.
did.
I thought so.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
I wasn't here.
Yeah, we did MC.
Nah, you weren't here.
All right, I got a good one.
Yeah, I wasn't here that night.
I want to say number one fan gave me this one too. Top 5 people that you want to have dinner with, dead or alive. Top 5 people you want to have dinner with, dead or alive.
That's a good one. I go.
Ask the cop. You ready?
Yeah.
Go for it.
That'd be Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, my grandfather. Let's see. Alive, President Obama, and let's see. Colin Powell. He just passed. I met him.
Me too. Outstanding. All right, you ready yet?
I go third.
D. Wayne, what you got?
All right, top 5 people I want to have dinner with dead or alive. Ooh, this is a good one.
I got mine.
Since I don't have to pay for it, Jay-Z.
Hey, that's big. That's big. I'm tripping.
Malcolm X. Nipsey Hussle. Tupac.
That's mine.
And to end it off, I would say I just lost a best friend, and I would love to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? So
what's his name?
Corey Weems.
Right on.
So yeah, definitely, I would love to talk to him. So similar to you.
All right, I'm up. I got Tupac, Malcolm X, Maya Angelou, R. Kelly.
You want to have dinner with him, or you want to fight him? Which one is it?
Hey, both. And then my last one, God.
Go ahead, Sunshine.
My top 5 would be Angela Davis, Malcolm X, Dick Gregory. Remember you had him?
Oh, absolutely.
Bill Gates and Frances Lowell. That's the famous grandmother. She passed away, like when I was 4. But yeah.
What you got?
All right. It'll be my grandfather who passed. Muhammad Ali. Who else? I hope my lady don't hear this. And if she do, I apologize. But Halle Berry in her prime.
In her prime.
In her prime.
She won't be bad at you.
Yeah.
I think she'll be all right.
I'm joining on that one.
Okay. Harry Belafonte. And Deion Sanders.
Prime time.
Wow.
All right.
That's my number 1 guy right there.
Wow. Darius, Chena, you guys have a top 5 ready?
Oh yeah. My top 5 would be Barack and Michelle.
I do.
Oprah, Tyler Perry, and Angela Bassett.
Okay. Chena, what you got?
I had Jesus, King Solomon, Maya Angelou, Barack Obama, and Mother Teresa.
Mother Teresa.
All right, guess that puts me on the spot. Denzel Washington.
Oh, you said my turn?
Let him go.
Yeah. Who's that?
That Sugar Sean?
Oh, Sean. Sean, go ahead.
Yo, what up? You said my top 5 most influential people in my life?
No, top 5 people you want to have dinner with, dead or alive.
Say one more time. It's a little muffled. The callers on the other end, I can hear them clear. Can y'all tell me the question real quick?
Top 5 people you want to have dinner with, dead or alive.
Top 5 people that I
want to have dinner with.
Want to have dinner with, dead or alive.
Oh, that I want to have dinner with? This is good, right? Biggie Smalls. Yeah. That's definitely. baby. Yo, Bob Marley, because I wanted to know if he's really a vegan. I want to know what's going on with that. Richard Pryor, definitely, because I thought he was funny. He would that definitely be dope. Alive, definitely Dave Chappelle. And my next one would be
No, go ahead.
Oh, and my last one, that would definitely be Barack Obama.
All right.
Hey, peace.
Good choice.
All right, so again, Denzel Washington, Will and Jada together.
That could get heavy. That could be real entangled.
Yeah, I want to have dinner with both of them together.
Might end up staying with them.
Yeah, both of them together. Malcolm X. Steve Harvey. And I would say Bill Cosby. Yeah. Back. Yeah.
I really want to ask why.
wanted to say back when, Uptown Saturday Nights and all that was going on, but he was drugging people at the same time.
That is alleged.
Right.
That's alleged.
Yeah. If I did it, my cups would be clear. But mine is more on the entertainment and trying to. Bill Cosby, Barack Obama is right there. Yeah.
All right. Let me read some of the callers. Number one fan, Nita got parents, Joseph and Helen Bracey, Barbara Jordan, Fannie Lou Hamer, and Jesus. Alexis, I don't know if this is you or Mom's, but Denzel Washington, Colin Powell, Louis Armstrong, Maya Angelou.
Louis Armstrong, wow.
I'm assuming that you're adding this one in. Lil Angelo and Candyman.
Candyman?
That's Joseph Bracey. My grandfather, that was his nickname.
Okay, gotcha.
My aunt Orlena got the Obamas, Martin Luther King, Mary McLeod Bethune, and again her parents, Joseph and Helen, and Jesus. I think that's all of them so far. You got any on yours before I read mine? Do mine?
No, ain't nobody say nothing. You good?
All right. So I got LL Cool J, cause that's my guy. Malcolm X. I'm definitely gonna go with. I love to have a dinner with all of my grandparents because they all gone. Joseph, Helen, Vanderbilt, and Ruth Anna. Barack Obama. I'd love to have a sit down with him. And last but not least, you all know my number one, Lil Angelo. Boy, only if.
Happy heavenly birthday, young man. Happy heavenly birthday.
Son. Yes, today is his birthday. He'll be 29 years old today. So to be able to sit down and have anything with him again, boy. Oof. Oof. But anyway.
Man, you don't know how many inboxes and text messages I got today about your post. What?
Really?
Man.
Yeah, mine blowing up too. So, well, you have a lot of folks who knew and didn't, but we ain't gonna go there. Y'all don't get me emotional on him.
Right.
Anyway, man, this has been a great.
You had to be a part of Rage way back.
Man.
When we used to have meetings at the house.
At the house.
Way back.
Way back.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So anyway, man.
Great night, y'all.
This conversation here has been absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It was everything we thought it was going to be and more.
Exactly.
And it's going to require a part 2.
Yeah, I sure.
Because I think I would like to go from where we are to that next step where we kind of pick that a little bit in terms of if there's an agenda. I think we have to hit on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of varying opinions on that as well. So, but before we do that, Jeez, you got anything else, brother?
Nah, man, appreciate y'all, man. Every time, man, it's all 100.
Jeezy brought up his topic 2 weeks ago, man. This was a great topic, Jeezy, and I hope things resonated. Some of the things you need to hear from a personal standpoint. Will Franklin and everybody else out there. There's a lot of folks out there, man. Who
that needed this.
That needed it.
That needed this conversation.
That needed conversation. Because sometimes just talking about it makes a major difference in people's lives. And we've seen that. So ask a cop. What you got, brother?
As always, if you have any negative interactions with law enforcement, file a complaint. Good officers don't mind. So make sure you take the time to do it because too often we do a lot of talking and I'm batting 100% on the show. Everybody that came in that talks about all this heinous things that happened, they all have something in common. They never called internal affairs and filed an official complaint. So when something's done wrong, make sure you file a complaint. Don't waste time by filling it up with trivial. If you're speeding, you're speeding. Didn't have nothing to do with you being black. That's all I got.
So my final remarks is this. I wore this shirt tonight intentionally, fatherhood over everything, because I live by that on a daily basis. So for everybody out there with the sound of my voice, watch this later, whatever the case may be, you have kids out there, be a part of those kids' lives. You know, the one thing I take pride in every day is I'll never, ever, ever leave my house without telling every one of my boys individually that I love them. And I mean that, John. Those that know, you know, I lost my son when he was 6 years old, but there wasn't a day that went by, and the last words I spoke to him was, I love you. Love your kids, man. You enjoy that moment. You know what I mean? They're a blessing from God. And you take every moment you can, give everything you can to those kids. And I mean that. Get out there and vote. Almost that time.
Oh, yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Oh, bro, I just found this out today. Classic Konversations with Jae Tea and Lo has been nominated again for an ATL's Hottest Award. I had no idea till somebody actually reached out to me today and told me.
How about that?
Congratulations, fellas.
Yeah, the nomination is big enough. That means somebody's watching, and that's all we want. Again, this conversation is always about opinions, with hoping that we can find a common ground somewhere embedded within the conversation. Sometimes it's not a solution. Right. Sometimes it's just the dialogue. You know, a learning dialogue. It's just a learning platform, because it's not a solution to everything. Sometimes you just have to, you know, educate yourself on the other side. Still live your side, but you still need to educate yourself on the other side so that you can respect the other side. So with that, my final thoughts is in regards to the children. Understand that everything that you do, there's a child somewhere that's watching you, period. Whether you have children or not. Understand that everything that you do, there's a child somewhere watching. So in a sense, I'm not gonna say you're a role model, but you are an example. So think about everything that you do, because we're thinking about our future again. So, you know, make sure that you're trying to do things to the best of your ability so that child can see it and learn from it. I think that's it for me, since we was talking about the kids. I just thought about that real quick. So next week, man, we're gonna get on part 2. This might be 2, 3, 4. This one, usually what we do is the part 2, we wait, but we're gonna keep this one going until we decide to move on. So part 2 is next week. We're gonna, you know, get into it a little bit more, and I'm hoping that we can get both sides of the spectrum again. You know, Chena, again, I really appreciate you calling in, so I'm hoping we can get some more to call in. We're gonna reach out.
Alonzo as well, definitely.
You know, D. Alonzo, I appreciate you, man. I want you calling in. Mama D, I want you calling in next week so we can talk about it some more. Everybody, we appreciate you calling in. Bradley, my man, you know, I know you couldn't hear as much, so you just kept going. We heard your story, so we appreciate it. So yeah, Classic Konversations. And we are out. You dig?
Peace out.
Hey, yeah, I'm a friend. Open up your heart to less traditions. Hey, 'cause I can't live without your heart, your kisses, your heart, your kisses. I can't, no, I can't leave. No. stay on B, but I know I can stay on B. Sometimes I get off key, but I know I can stay on B. I know I can stay on B. I know I can stay on B, baby. Sometimes I know I can get on key, but I know I can stay on B. But I know I can stay on B. I guess that's y'all. Yeah, let me get some guitar. Let me get some bass. Let me get some bass. Let me get some bass. Keyboard, what you talking about? You already know where I'm about to go.